Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion. Even though I offer all of the solutions, I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless. I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me? Then will you get bored of killing me?
Hello. Wow. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We are 4 more days of packing, and we are off.
Yeah, we're
Off
leaving
to
soon.
Ilo
We're moving
Ilo.
soon.
Really excited. Incredibly excited. You don't even know. We feel pretty, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like,
It hasn't hit me yet.
yeah, it hasn't hit me either. Like, I was trying to think of what the word is here. Like, yeah, like it honestly doesn't feel like we are moving in 4 to 5 days from now. 5 days for the move, 4 days left to pack type thing. It just doesn't feel like it. By the way, if you're here, say hello in the chat if you wouldn't mind. We will make sure the chat's working because right now I don't see anything in there, not a single hello.
Yeah,
So
let us know
give
if,
us
like,
a
sound
hello.
works and stuff.
Exactly.
That's one of the biggest things.
Exactly. That's how we know, like, as people tell us in chat, hey, I can't hear you, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so hopefully, because this was voted, by the way, 43%, so which was the largest share of the five or six times that we gave as options. This was the largest by far, with 43%, doubling the next time zone. So lots of people should be available for this time zone. So today, though, we're going to do something a little different for our lives. Well, maybe not a little different, but a little extra. We normally will feature like one thing or something. This time I made a list of things that we can talk about, show, those kind of things during the live. Try to make the lives feel a little bit more exciting for all of you. So I'm going to, just before we get started, though, I'm just going to make sure our stream is fine. And I have it here.
Cool. So wait, sorry, what are we looking at today?
Oh,
couple
it's not, because there is chat, but we're not seeing the chat. Okay, we're going to reset our chat here, guys. One sec. Because for some reason,
Nothing's showing up.
No.
Weird.
Yeah, like I see the chat here, guys, but for some reason,
Do you have
it's-
like two opened or something?
let me go back here for a second, and we're going to click this again, and we're going to pop it out. Now it's working. Here we go. Now I can actually see your chats because ignore that. That's just some strange thing that's going to be fixed in
Sample.
1 second. Yeah, the sample thing. All right. There's always something on a live stream, you know? You can't have it perfect.
Good evening. Hello, everybody.
There
Hope
we
you're all doing
go.
well.
Yeah. Hello from Mississauga. Well. Nice to see you again. Yeah, as you can see here, we got a little goal going on here. We're going to try to do it by the end of the year. And, you know, we typically right now we're averaging about 5,500 per month. So this is a big ask. We're trying to get to 12,000 this month, which is quite a bit more. But hey, we were looking at, there's this website where you can check to see the growth of every
The
projected.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Projected
called
growth.
Social Blade. And so when I put in ours, it actually says December 29th, we will reach 100,000. And I was like, wow, how do they know this? If they just go based on previous month, they would never think that. But I guess they have a good algorithm, or they know how hard we're going to work on it.
Yeah. So I'm excited to try. I think it's a nice challenge, and I think we could do it.
I'm going
think
to
we
test
could do
that
it.
out there. See,
It's a good.
good thing I did that because
It'll be a good like holiday bang, like end of the year bang. You know.
Yeah. I've
Hello
heard
from
of a few things.
Mississauga.
I'm trying.
Take your time.
You know darn well what I was gonna say. I gotta fix something, but you keep going.
Wow. So it's 8 a.m. in the East Coast. So it's very early in the West Coast. So yeah, people aren't awake right now, I guess.
Well,
Wait.
no. Well, yeah. Sorry, it'd be like
Yeah.
6 a.m. right?
Oh yeah, because
And
the
8
hour.
a.m.
There's an hour.
That's
back.
why I actually was surprised so many people voted for this time zone
Yeah.
instead of voting for
Like
the
later.
mornings,
Yeah,
right?
morning.
Like Sunday morning, we thought would be the winner and the most popular, but it turned out no. You guys all voted. The majority voted this way. So
Did they know that it was Philippines?
yep, I put
Okay.
Eastern Standard and Philippines time in the polls. So it is what it is, I guess. But hey, you know what? You guys are here now, and many people can watch us after. So we're not going to waste much time on our little Heidi duties in the beginning. Heidi duties? Is that a thing? Heidi duty.
Okay.
And let's do some fun stuff right away, right off the bat. First of all, she doesn't know anything about them, so
No, so I'm going in blind like you guys.
right, exactly. So whatever reaction you see is the real reaction. Okay. So first of all, let me open it up here. All right, for all of you that are watching the World Cup.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Is that the World Cup that you're watching at home?
Of course it is. Obviously.
Obviously.
These are like dad jokes.
Yeah, it is like a dad joke,
Is
right?
anyone actually watching it though? Like, is anyone watching it? Because
Yeah.
all I know are from TikToks.
Right, and
right now.
it's either Saudi
And-
Arabia or
No, there's a lot. So right now,
In
everybody is simping for the Korea team because they're all like really pretty. And it's so funny because they're making jokes because a lot of like adults love K-pop and stuff, and people make fun of them for liking K-pop.
right.
And then all you see in these edits are like when a Korean player, like one of them is really popular. He waves at the crowd and the crowd goes ham. And they're all dudes, right? Because it's a lot of guys watching the World Cup, like
Right.
in person, right, in the stadium. And so he's waving at the crowd and they all go crazy. And they're like, and you guys come at us for liking K-pop? You're one of us. You're one of
Wow.
us. So
Yeah, come to think of it, football, soccer, whatever,
football.
is really a man's spectator sport.
I feel like a lot of
Yeah,
people-
it kind of is.
Most
Like there is
sports are-
women's soccer. Don't get me wrong and all that, or I don't know. If
No,
it's
I
in-
feel okay. Nobody watches women's sports.
Yeah,
It
and when we
sucks.
were in Albania,
I would love to watch it
they didn't
more.
even have girl sports for soccer. They only had boys.
Oh my god.
You remember?
Yeah. No, I've never
It was
at,
only boys ever.
at the stadium. I've
Yeah.
never seen a
They'd have the young
women's
boys,
league.
everything doing their little tournaments, and stuff. No, and
Stupid.
so I don't know. Like it's a strange thing, but in Canada, girls soccer was extremely popular.
Of course, yeah.
like in high school,
yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah.
It was always popular.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like if you I swear you had to have no, the one thing they didn't have in our high school was a women's baseball team. I
Mm.
was pissed at that. But then they're like, "Well, you can always try out to be on the dudes
Did
one."
they have a co-ed? No.
No, it was only co-ed because one of the girls was very good.
Okay.
She played competitive baseball and she was literally like the umpire. She was a couple years ahead. So she was my umpire when I played games. She would be umping umping, I guess, our games. So she was very, very good. She knew the rules inside and out. And so she played on their team, but she was the only one. And I'm like, I can't. I want to, but I just can't do it.
Right.
I should have though. I should have because
Alright.
baseball was my thing.
There you go. Well, basketball is the thing here. So and
That's
boxing.
true.
All right. Well, let's go to the next one. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm
You
ready.
ready? So that was my
Are
dad
these just
joke.
memes? Oh no.
No, just two.
Okay.
So this is less of a meme and a less of a fact. That's McDonald's in the Philippines breakfast.
Oh my god, it looks so sad, but I know it's banging. Okay, hash
Rice
browns,
and deep fried.
McDonald's hash browns though are so good. I know this is that's probably one of the most unhealthy breakfasts you could ever have. But it's just it looks good. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I
Well, there
like
you go. So if you didn't know, that's what you can expect if you head down here. I've never seen an Egg McMuffin. So
Neither have I.
no.
No. But I feel like is that like the 99-cent breakfast or not 99 cents? Wait.
Oh, I don't.
99
That's
peso, I
not. That's
guess?
not
I don't know.
99 pesos. I don't think so.
Well,
Maybe.
or like 50 peso, $1, because they have
I would
they
say
have
something like it's
cheap
probably
meals.
149 or something.
the
Because you can get one piece chicken and just rice for 99 pesos
yeah. Well, I don't. Well,
Right.
you get one piece. Yeah, one piece of chicken and one
and rice. Yeah.
So
a
I don't know.
drumstick.
But I mean, like a hash brown is literally just fried potato. So
Right.
It's not like it's super hard to
Notice I got like
make.
hat head here. I was wearing my hat. Anyway, don't mind me. Okay, so another thing I have other things set up, so don't you worry, don't you
Okay.
fret. Okay, it's not just memes. I was trying to do a slow start, so more people come in,
Yeah.
and so that's what happens. You get the memes in the beginning, but we're gonna
Okay,
go to the
okay.
next one here. So here we go. I want to show you. I got to fix this one too. Let's see, not that one. I need to fix this one too, so you guys don't get a weird bar there.
Yeah.
Because I had to reset the chat.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So here we go. I want you to imagine that
Are those
this.
jellyfish?
Imagine that this is you out on a boat. Would you feel like swimming?
I like how slow they're going. That's respectful, at least.
It's probably a
Oh
little
my
hard to row.
gosh.
You don't want all those splashing up in your face.
They look like boobies. Or no, you know what? They look like pomegranates.
Yeah.
Pomegranate seeds.
Yeah. A little more deadly. So you think you'd want to jump in and go swimming?
That's terrifying. Heck
Welcome
no.
to the Philippines.
Are those ones poison? Oh yeah. That's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at all those little
I was
electrodes.
like, maybe they're not friendly, or maybe they're not deadly. Those look very deadly. Those look like you don't want to touch them at all. There's only that one lake, I think, it's full of like the baby, like not babies, but like small jellyfish, and you can swim with them, and they're not deadly or anything. But still, I would feel so bad. I know that they don't have like brains or anything. I don't know. I don't think they have brains. At least.
Oh, I
I
think
think
they don't
they-
like brains
No,
or something.
they don't have brains or anything, and so they kind of just float. They kind of just go, right?
Okay.
So they won't feel anything. But I would be so afraid if I kicked a jellyfish. Like, I would feel so bad for it, even though it's probably like, wow, it's a little turbulent today in the water. Like, they wouldn't even think.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even think about it. So, yeah, that's a big no, though. What you just showed me.
Norm just corrected us here.
I had sausage McMuffins with egg. I'm sure they do. I wouldn't say
Maybe you have
they-
to get up before noon.
I'm sure you do.
I don't think it's not like America where they have all day breakfast. So, or did they get rid of? I think they
all day breakfast.
axed it because I used to eat it all the time. It's
Why?
not a
I
little
would,
bit-
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why.
Maybe it's just our McDonald's, because our McDonald's on Boracay right? There's only one McDonald's.
It's not
they
on
don't
their
have
menu.
chicken. They don't have chicken half the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're lucky if you find chicken.
literally, yeah, you'll. Okay, I promise you. Look at the menu. Pick at least 3 things that you would want to eat because I guarantee you, like at least one of those are not available.
Oh, yeah. Almost guaranteed. No French fries, no something.
Yeah. Yeah. So that just might be because we're on like a very popular island, very busy. Everyone knows McDonald's.
Yeah.
Every country knows McDonald's. So it's easy to understand why they would run out a lot. Especially near the nighttime when everyone's like after they go out and they want like a late snack.
Wow. Look at this. We were there. Panglo Island.
Panglo.
Hello, Joseph.
Hello.
Thank you
that
for
was nice.
joining us. Also, Stephen John here says, what's the long-term and short-term plans for the Philippines?
Live here.
Wow.
Both short and long. Sorry, that's okay. Short term, depends on what you see as short term. Okay, for me, a year is like a long term, because that's a lot. But for some people, 1 year is like, okay, that's like not even fully a short term,
Right.
Okay. Anyways, we obviously are gonna live at Iloilo for a year at least. We're gonna see how we like it. Obviously, we're going in kind of the same as Boracay, although we've been to Iloilo a couple times, so we know the vibe more, and we know more what we can expect.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be okay, like being there for a year. Unlike when we came here on Boracay, we're like, let's just find a place for a year. Let's just do it, okay? Not really understanding what we were getting into.
And not saying it's a bad place or anything
Obviously.
like that. It's just the
We're on
options are
Boracay.
very limited
Yeah.
here. So that's why we know it's an easier decision in Iloilo because we realize we gotta not limit our options so much.
Yeah.
We're
And-
fixing that part.
Yeah, now I just lost where I was thinking.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. So,
Long term, short term.
yeah.
So that's
I don't
technically
know.
like a long term
Sorry.
is what you were saying.
No.
1 year?
No, short term is 1 year. I
Yeah,
know.
short term.
I know
Sorry.
some people might think that's not really like short term. It's kind of short term, long term because a year is a lot for us. Frick, sorry.
And then even though we're going to be in Iloilo, we're going to travel to all different parts of the Philippines. And our goal is to, be able to travel everywhere in the Philippines eventually, 7,000 years from now or something. But, eventually maybe we'll get everywhere. But yeah, everything above 1 year involves your mother, land, potentially long-term plans.
Yeah, so long term would be us eventually getting a plot of land, building or like having at least one house and then building a second house on it on opposite ends, okay? Not beside each other, not right behind each other, opposite ends. All right, I need space. And then having a little farm in between, nothing like major, okay? Not like a very like quaint little like a retirement farm for my mom so she can retire but still do stuff so she's not just cooped up in her house all day and so she can chill, have like 5 dogs cuz she loves dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be long term.
That would be a long term, and we can build our dream house and all that
Yeah.
really cool stuff. And so that's where we're going in with the whole longer term thing. We also want to travel this whole part of the world that we came down here with that excitement that one day we will be able to go to Japan. We'll be able to go to Korea. We'll be able to go. Well, I've been to Australia, but
exactly.
you've never been to
Yeah,
Australia. And,
exactly.
we haven't been to Thailand yet. We went to Cambodia, but everything was locked down. So we still have to go to Thailand. We have so many Vietnam, back to Cambodia because we saw it during a pandemic. And many other places. Love to do the Great Wall of China, when things get back to normal over there, that
That'd be
kind of
cool.
thing. It'd be really cool.
I want to go shopping in China. They have a lot of malls. They have big malls as well. I
Oh,
think they have the
jeez.
world's largest mall.
Guys, doesn't matter where we go, she's going to be like, I'm excited to go shopping.
What? I don't even need to buy anything. I just want to go to the mall,
I know. Yeah, so this has got to do with the video we just played.
Tentacles are deadly. Oh, especially if it touches your body, your belly button. Sting can penetrate easily to your body.
No, it makes
Is
sense.
that true?
It makes sense that that's actually connected to you, right? That's how
Your
you were
belly button.
fed.
Is it connected to your heart?
Well, how is it staying alive in your mother's belly? Everything was
once upon
pump
a
through there.
time.
Yeah. But when we tie a knot in
Yeah.
there, I don't think we disconnect it inside.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have no
I
idea.
don't know
I'll
either.
be back. I'm going to go get a
But
coffee.
you're making me wonder. You're making me wonder. So, yeah, I'll keep going with that. We have more to talk about, by the way, when she comes back. So, do not distant heart or anything. We're not going to be just doing that. Guys, Exodus in Boracay are coming. Yes, exactly. So, how's it feel that you transfer again to another environment with different vibes? You know, honestly, we were just saying this at the beginning before more people poured in. It hasn't hit us yet. We don't even notice. Our minds haven't switched yet. Yeah, we packed some things. We're going to be giving away all our food that we have stocked up for hurricanes and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on. Got to pay final bills. And with the new people that are renting it as subscribers of ours, we're going to meet them at one of the utilities to make sure it switches over to their name, all that good stuff. And so we got a lot to do, but it still hasn't hit us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's hard to believe that we have 4 days left to pack, and in 5 days from now we'll be in our new home. Doesn't feel like it. But that's also because we've been keeping extremely busy. We have been putting in, 12, 14, like she's streaming on her Twitch constantly. And then when we get off, I've been editing, and then we're filming, or we're doing something. We're always going, and we haven't had much time for, anything lately. So in the last week or so, we've just been crazy busy. So I don't think we've had a moment to think, and that can change a lot. Plus, our house there's been so much work being done on the house that I haven't updated all of you in the video or anything. Like, way different than even the last time I showed. I was shocked how fast they're moving here and how much they're putting in. So, yeah. Melasike. Pangasinan. Melasike Pangana. Oh, gee, I'm getting that wrong. I had an egg McMuffin here. Yeah, it must be a Boracay thing, I guess. We just have very limited stuff here. Yeah. I don't know. I wish we had egg McMuffins. I definitely would be all over it. Let's see. Southern Cebu vibes. I have a question. You guys planning to have a baby soon? No. Travel, this whole thing that we're constantly doing, everything in our lives is not planted on the ground. No roots have grown. We're not going to be for a while. So that's really not a consideration at this time. I know everybody talks about it and everybody pushes, but no, we got a lot of things we're going to be doing. Oh, that's interesting. And our 24-hour McDonald's. Yeah, ours, I believe McDonald's on midnight here, but Jollibee closes at 10 o'clock. I was like, really? That's crazy. But we also don't have Uber Eats or, Grab. We don't have any of that. We don't have, we have a couple guys on Facebook that you just message them on Facebook saying, please go pick me up this, and they charge you 100 pesos. That's what we got. For the island, there are no apps or anything like that. So, yeah, we're going to be using what the current owner's account says, and that's what we'll have to say for now. So we'll see if it's good enough for a while. We'll try it out, but it'll be good enough. Nope. I want to get you back in here, so I'm good. Been answering all kinds of things, by the way. Look at that.
Thank you.
Boom.
From the hole.
She showed it in the video. If you haven't seen the video. All right.
And the souvenirs weren't even expensive there.
Oh, no.
It was really
no. Yeah, usually at gift stores and stuff, it's like, oh, I'm going to pay through my nose. And no, it was really good.
Yeah, it was really well done.
Yeah, you got several things. I think it was like 450 pesos or something like that. Collabs, yeah. We anybody and everybody that reaches out, we'll always try to find a way to work with people. So we were going to do a collab day where especially in Iloilo, where any and all vloggers, I don't care if you're a Facebook vlogger, a TikTok vlogger, YouTube vlogger,
Like
we'll
content creator, I guess.
Yeah, we'll all meet up at like the SM Mall where they have the fountain, the outdoor area. We'll all meet up there, and we can, you can interview us, or everybody can vlog, whatever everybody wants to do. totally cool with it. And I think it helps promote Iloilo as a whole. And of course, it all helps cross promotion and stuff like that. And if we have a bigger audience or whatever, we're happy to share, that way. And if somebody bigger than us comes, well, that's great. Awesome for them too. But yeah, we've messaged all the big people and very few are interested. Some once in a while we'll get a yes, but they are not in our area, that kind of thing. So it hasn't happened, but we've tried. We've tried a lot. Okay, so are we ready? You want to go to the next thing?
Yeah. I'm
This
ready.
is
Let's
really fun, and I got to go take us back to this and get rid of the video. So this is really, really fun, okay? And not just fun, but like really cool. And I think you guys will be blown away by this because what you hear in your history books, it was written 20 years ago, 15, 20, 30 years ago, whatever, or longer. And so much has changed because of archaeological digs. There's that one in Turkey that recently just basically rewrote everything about how old society, with humans or with Homo sapiens on the earth, what they ever thought, right? Everybody always thought that the advanced civilizations didn't start until around 8,000 or 6,000 BC. And with that new, I wish I could say it, Abiateki, I can't remember how to say it. But anyway, with that new discovery, they realized that we're way off and that there were advanced civilizations much older after that dig happened. Well,
It's really curious.
this is going to be really interesting for that type of vibe. And hang on a sec. Sorry, guys. We got to move this over here. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to fix it. A lot of things got switched up on us. And I will increase the size of that. Get over there. Hang on. There we go. We go down? No. Why not?
Weird.
Oh no, that's why.
Oh.
This has to be bigger. Whoa. All right. Now I'll go back over here and not make it cover
It's
you.
fine.
No. Well, you can scoot a bit. And that way we have extra room sort of thing. And so this was just before the pandemic. But because of the pandemic, everything kind of disappeared because people were talking about other things, obviously. And it's very, very interesting when you consider that what we were just talking about, how early we believe history goes back for the human settlements on Earth. And right here in the Philippines, this is science, by the way, science.org. So a real...
That's an amazing name.
What's
With an
that?
organization, like a website name.
Oh, yeah.
Science. Your name is literally
Yeah,
Science.
But they are the Journal of Science, too.
Yeah.
That's why they got
Yeah, it makes
science.org. But that's the Journal of Science. So these are this is not some weird website or anything like that. So ancient humans settled the Philippines 700,000 years ago. Did early humans arrive there by boat? Because even they're looking at everything after the last ice age and assuming that part is right, because I know now there's new science that shows different layers of sediment that maybe we had another ice age around 8,000 BC. So that would change a lot of things. Not really brought up in this one, but I've seen those same papers because that kind of stuff really interests me. But anyway, so what they're saying in here is they found all these. I'm going to ignore that because that's actually what they said is originally. Oh no, that was a different article. That's right. I got rid of it because of this. So researchers found 75% of a fossilized rhino skeleton, and actually I can do this so everybody else can read.
Yeah.
75% of a fossilized rhino skeleton, ribs and leg bones still scarred from tools that had removed the meat and marrow lying in an ancient mud that had long since buried an even older river channel. To determine the site's age, researchers dated the enamel in one of the rhino's teeth, as well as the quartz grains embedded in the sediment layers. I'm not going to read it all. But anyway, the team has dated the bottom sediment layer to about 727,000 years ago. The rhino tooth was 709,000, and the top sediment about 701,000. So they didn't just use one point of reference, they had three.
Wait, how do they know that it was tools and not like another predator's
Well,
Jeez.
it gets better because if we go down here, so who are these ancient people? And so they're talking about Homo sapiens and stuff like that, and how they came from Africa. But if they came from Africa, then so then when they started to excavate, oh, did I not grab both articles? I didn't. Okay, so I will give you the
Yeah.
not exact.
Yeah, give us
So
the
they did,
TTL.
and this is
TLDR.
2018. Right here, yeah. So in 2019, they were in Luzon. They excavated in a cave 2 meters down,
Oh, and found the skeletal.
and
Sorry.
also some rudimentary tools. So that's how they were able to trace the people
Yeah.
and back and
Confirm.
and confirm that now those ones weren't 700,000 years ago, but still, because it would be literally wiped out, I think, by then, unless it's in sediment itself. But it still was like 80,000 a year or something like that. So it was still an extreme amount. So anyway, I thought this was really interesting because you don't think of history past the Spanish era for most people here in the Philippines. Most people only think of, there were some tribes here and Spain came and colonized them. That's for the most part what most people think of when they're talking about the history of the Philippines. And it actually goes much deeper than that. And they're really, the Philippines has never been a first world nation. Like we came from before, sorry to jump around, but when we were in Albania, they had so many archaeological sites
Right.
that nobody had the money to dig it. And the ones that were dug, you could literally wander in. There's nobody there to charge money, nobody to monitor it, nobody to prevent you from digging yourself and finding yourself a spoon and just taking it home. Like all the things that you would imagine. Where a country like Greece, well, they have the money. Italy, they have the money to do archaeological digs. They and the United States, same thing, that kind of thing, and put the money into that whole historical thing. And so it's almost like not even as well as it was in Albania, which is right beside Greece. Here, there's probably very little money has ever been spent on archaeological digs here in the Philippines. And so just imagine if they had the money, what you would find here. And who knows, right? There could be things that you can't even imagine when you consider Easter Island and all that is between us and South America. There's been discoveries all the way along where there are things that we can't explain to modern science how they built them.
And for the longest time on Easter Island, they just thought those statues were heads only.
Right.
And then they
It
dug
was like
below and they're like, wait.
10 years ago or something.
Yeah, and they're like, wait, there's a full body down here. And I'm like,
and they're enormous. And
yeah,
then how did they make them?
I'm like, wait, nobody thought to be like, well, there's a head, maybe there's more. It's the same. Yeah. So when you were talking about that Albania, there was this one theater, and you could literally see that what is it? That there's still doorways underneath. Like you could see the arch of a doorway, and while you saw the main stage, where do you think the actors and stuff got dressed? Below, backstage, underneath.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if you guys were to just dig there, you would probably find so many cool things, like costume jewelry, just little things.
Even the vases and everything.
Yeah, like the vases are cool, but they're very common. Okay, like they're very common, and 10 out of 10, they're like normally broken. It's almost impossible to find like a perfectly preserved one. So if you found that though, that would be like, okay, hold on a minute. But just thinking of like the costume jewelry, which like even though the thread might be broken, the beads will still be okay. That would be fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic. I honestly, if we lived there, I would totally be like taking my little shovel, going in. I just make one archway, just one archway.
Just one?
Just one. I need to get in and out. Okay, that's all. But yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah,
very interesting. And this comment here about the Tabon Cave, dubbed the Tabon Man in Palawan.
I wanted to go to this cave.
Yeah,
I've
maybe
actually
we will.
looked it up. I think, I can't remember if this is one, they blocked it off though. I can't remember exactly.
There's no
But
pictures in
I
there.
was actually looking into this because I was looking into the rocks, and I was like, well, are there fossils and stuff? And then I ended up going into the human side of things, as in like older humans. So
Right.
it's really cool.
Well, let's take a look at this. Let's see, where's that web? Okay, and this is what you were talking about, and I'll zoom in so that it's better on the screen. I think. Yeah, there we go.
Wow, this is from 2004.
2004, okay. And let's see, 16,500 BC of the dates of those. So even when you discover, that's what you've discovered. But if we found some bones in a small town in whatever, England, that doesn't mean that it is the oldest. It's just the oldest they found,
Yeah.
which is incredible, right? And you can just imagine what we could find if we were digging
They found
and
it in the
looking
1960s.
everywhere. Oh, wow. Oh, and they probably just weren't be able to date it.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah, that is really cool. So this other discovery in Luzon, though, was the 600,000 years. So I'm not sure if they're the same, if they're different. If any, like I said, that discovery was in 2018 and then they continued to excavate into 2019, and it really makes you wonder, like with the pandemic, that was it, right? Like,
Right.
has anybody picked up that job of continuing on that research since then?
Yeah.
Not sure. Modern humans probably sailed. Yeah, that's the thing. But
Or walked. There might be
what they're saying is 700,000 years ago, humans didn't have the technology, Homo sapiens, didn't have the technology to build boats and be able to sail that far and that kind of thing. They would have only stuck right to the shores and would never been able to handle the waves and storms and stuff like that. And nor, if they couldn't see it with their eyes, they wouldn't go venture out there.
Yeah.
I saw something today, and they were saying that when the Christopher Columbus type stuff or whatever, when they were heading out, 30%, I might be getting this wrong, so don't take the number exact, 30% of all ships never came back. Right? So you'd sail
you
off.
found a new world. Why would you come
Oh,
back?
no, or never. Well, you
okay.
would. You go to the new world, they
Yeah.
establish, and then they go back and they get
flex.
more people.
Yeah,
Well, they
be
get
like,
more people. Yeah,
guys.
flex was a big thing, but
Guys.
then you get rewarded by the king or whoever you
Yeah.
were. But then you obviously start selling land to people back there and bring pilgrims in and everything. Like that was the normal thing back then. But they said, just imagine in modern days, if every airplane you got on, you had a 30% chance that you wouldn't survive, would you still get on the plane?
Right. And
So
even
there were
if
people
it does
getting-
survive, you might die during.
Right.
You might get scurvy,
Imagine that. People were willing to get on these ships with a 30% chance that you won't get you'll die. You just wouldn't do that. If I said, "Hey, let's go to Manila," you have a 30% chance you won't make it.
Yeah, but if you're about to die, if I don't know, maybe you've used up the land that you're on.
I guess,
And
but I
you're
think
like-
for the most part that wasn't the case. What the case was is that it was a land of opportunity, right? You could go and be rich. You could have hundreds of acres.
I'm
for
talking
free.
I'm talking about back in the day when all you could do was forage and hunt. If you've hunted every buffalo in your field, or if you're on your little island, like if you're on Boracay, cut down all the trees.
Those
and
Boracay
something,
buffaloes, guys.
and there's no more buffaloes, then you're like,
Yes.
well, I kind of want more buffalo. I'm kind of itching that little craving. So I'm just gonna zip zop out of here.
Okay, well, but yeah, Boracay to mainland is nothing. If you could see it, you would sail it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think though, because you can literally see Palawan in Malaysia. Like you can see Malaysia from Palawan. Maybe not, but it's not too far away. There's
Um,
islands in between.
yeah, I
Can we
guess
just- can you put the map
maybe
up,
they could
please?
have island hopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, also 700,000 years ago, they're not even precisely sure that we didn't have another ice age around the time of about 8,000 BC. And the reason they say that is they can see the great floods that in the Sahara Desert, and that's why they're now thinking that
Just
maybe
Google Maps.
things have changed quite a bit. Yeah, okay. All right. I went the long way on
I know, like,
this,
he
but
went to Google and then he typed in maps.
I know. Ignore
It's
me,
fine.
guys. Well, they can't see yet, but yeah. That's fine. It's fine. Okay, we're gonna bring it up
Just zoom out. Just
so
zoom
she
out.
feels good.
Can you put the satellite on? Just because then we can see like how deep the water is. See, there's probably a land bridge going on there, like the water, and even in the Sulu area.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like.
Well, the oldest one they're saying is all the way here in
Of course.
Luzon. So
Well, once upon a time, we're all
700,000
connected.
years ago.
Not the. I don't think the Philippines was connected in like Pangea. No, they weren't. They came up after. But
where is the satellite view? Oh, there
it's
it is.
that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's-
No, from here, yeah, definitely.
Oh, and if you go to the bottom as well. Oh, I don't know what.
Yeah, but we're talking about from Africa to here is what they believe. But still,
But
it would
okay,
come all the way
yeah,
across.
yeah.
And, like-
and then you could go up or down.
Yeah. So you're saying, yeah, I guess, yeah, because they could have went all the way down through Malaysia.
Or
But-
no, but if they're from Luzon, then they probably came from like the China area, like the Hong Kong area, Taiwan maybe, and came downwards.
Yeah.
Because there's a few islands there which have tribal people.
I know there's a way to see distances here, but I think it's about 500 miles.
See,
between
look,
there and there.
look. You can see all those
Oh,
small islands and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, and also look at the landmass here. This probably was above water.
Yeah. So that's probably makes more sense. That either was extra like more islands.
Yeah, I
at
think that's more
least.
likely than you could see it from Malaysia and Palawan.
Wait. Go up though. I'm sure there were people that were down there that came. Whoever the older people were.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess
they're
from
so
here to
far
here
out.
it doesn't seem that unrealistic.
Yeah, and those are like sand bar thingies. Like you can see that it's not very. See, so once upon a time, those are probably higher up.
Yeah, it's true. Well, even all of this too, right? You can see these high areas in the satellite view all the way around. Even like this, look at Japan. Looks like it was connected to Taiwan. at
Probably
one point.
was. It probably. You know what? The water was probably like. I wonder what the sea level was back in the day.
By the way, hello all the new
Too
people
far.
coming in here. Sorry, we went on like a little.
We're just looking
'cause
into like ancient.
Yeah, we saw that in
Homo
2018,
sapien
2019,
migration.
they discovered by digging in this cave in Luzon that they have found traces of civilization going back 700,000 years of Homo sapiens with tools. So incredible,
There's an island.
rewriting history.
Yeah, like right in between Taiwan and like Luzon. There's a few islands there, right?
Yeah.
A few.
Right there.
They have really cool traditional like outfits. So whenever we go there, it'll be really cool because they basically make these like giant straw wigs. They look like wigs. They look like, you know, a rock star in the 70s with like spaghetti hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's crazy teased and everything.
Let's see
Is it
if
that
anybody
one?
there's any pictures on here, but no.
There are, but you have to like wander.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I think it was there actually, but you would have to look at all their photos. Anyways, they had like these like massive like straw wigs and stuff, and then even their outfits, like they look like straw men.
Wow.
It was really cool.
Well, look at these houses though.
Look, there's a book, a free
Yeah,
library.
free library, and a chicken.
Yeah, and
I
so
don't know
these
where they
are
got a chicken from.
and these are
Okay.
like they're like rock houses, so they're
Yeah,
very
stone
tough.
houses, yeah.
They're very tough, and I'm like, wow, that is built, okay?
Yeah.
That is like.
But it's because they don't have very many trees on a place like that. It's like Newfoundland and stuff like that, where it's so barren.
Yeah,
Like they have some trees, but it just makes you have a lot of rock.
like rock works really
Yeah,
well,
and
you
the
can
wind
see
and
like
storms.
obviously the roofs are gone because nature will
Mhm.
blow it away once
Yep.
upon a time. But the
And it was
rock
always easy to
stays.
rebuild them too, because it's like, okay, I'll just go and get some more bamboo or not bamboo.
It might not be that island then, but like, oh, there.
That's your costume. That's the costume
And
you want to wear.
There's more though. There's more. So this is it's a very like traditional thing, and I'm like, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense because like it's like the OG raincoat, the OG like heat coat. If you don't want to get like, if you don't want the sun,
I don't
keeps
want to
you
get
warm.
the sun. I get hot.
And
Should
so
I wear that?
I was like, I want one of those so bad. I think it's really cool, and they even have like tunics basically.
You know what? We need to have like it's like the version of Amazon wish list, but
Amazon wish list.
well, yeah, where this would be on
I
your
can
wish
just
list.
put photos on, like just random items, and they're like, "Wait, what is that?" And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, some old lady has to make it from you that because her great great grandmother used to make them in 1221.
You can, yeah, but I think that's neat. And so, yeah, I like it.
All right. Let's go back and check out what people have been saying because we went away from here. Iloilo Airport is very busy. Is a busy airport. Direct flights to Iloilo, Cebu, Manila, Singapore,
Which
Hong
is so
Kong,
nice.
pick
That's
the
why
best
we
destination. Excellent.
love it. We love it because it is an international.
Yeah, and I liked how they
Airport.
built it like really far out of the city so that, like I
have
had
to
mentioned in
drive.
another one, that the same, so like we were saying in the video, you have the airport brings its own traffic, right? But it's the only thing out there. Great. Any traffic going to the airport is not mixing in with other traffic.
Yeah.
Then you have the Mega World. They did their own little thing. They got their own traffic. Then you have the Ayala ones, which are, what was the name of the buildings? Atria? Atria. They have their own thing, which isn't too far from Mega World, but it's kind of over here, so bringing its own traffic. And then this new one that's opening up where I did the video on it, the Savannah and Georgia, thank you. They're pretty far all the way up to the left side of it. And so they have their own traffic. And so therefore, you're not mixing, if they were all Walpa project here. Imagine like BGC, Makati, help me out here, Pasay. How do you say it?
Yeah.
Passy? No.
Pasay.
So anyway, all those areas, they all add to each other's traffic. They're all side by side. So
Yeah.
I kind of really like how they separated it all out like that. And so anyway, it's going to be great having the airport right there. So that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we only learned typically about the Spaniards found the Philippines, which of course they did not. Civilization was here for longer than that.
Same with Canada though, because didn't
I'm interested to know now, but it did. Is that something that was taught in school, or do they only? That's what I would love to know. What does history class teach you in the Philippines?
Yeah, because even in Canada,
What?
they talk about.
Thank you, Karen.
thank
That's
you,
appreciated. Thank
Karen.
you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well today, by the way. I ordered books on Philippine ghost monsters and mythology. That's cool. Balut John. That name is so funny.
I know.
I love it.
It might be a real name, and we're not making fun of it. It just makes her think of Balut.
It literally. Okay. I just noticed I wasn't subscribed. You guys make really good videos. I've always wanted to visit the Philippines.
Hey, thanks, Daniel.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Daniel.
that.
Hope you can come here.
Yeah,
soon.
exactly. And honestly, like when I was the last time I was down to White Beach, I was blown away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Normally, you get Filipinos and you get Korean tourists.
That's the majority. That's usually the
right.
majority.
And then out of 15 people that walk by me, I'm like, oh, a Westerner, right? Now, I don't know what countries they come from, so I say Westerner because it'd be Australia, it could be Finland, it could be Canada, it could be the United States, But now I was like, oh my gosh, every second person that's walking by me is a Westerner. That is something completely new for this island.
But Europeans are from the West.
No,
right?
it means Western lifestyle, right? They're all part of NATO. They're like North American. Think about NATO, right? It's a North Atlantic Treaty or whatever. Meanwhile, you got
Oceania.
You've got what?
Is Oceania NATO? So there's an O in it.
No.
Oh.
The organization is the O.
Oh, okay.
Treaty organization.
We don't
Anyway,
care about
so
Oceania,
but no, Western life is what they consider it. So England's in there. You got all of Europe, basically, all the like Germany and those kind of places. They're all not all of Europe because there are countries that are kind of considered not, but Western life is kind of like the best way to.
You can't see Malaysia from Palawan. Okay, well, not exactly Palawan. Maybe like a couple of islands ahead of it.
Yeah, it
Eventually
was. Yes, this is our very, very last
Boracay live stream.
Yep. I want to be.
That should have been the title.
That's
last
right.
Boracay live stream.
Silly me. Rename it after.
Austronesians are great sailors. Well, they would have to be. I mean,
you're in a place of all islands.
I mean,
you better be.
You're gonna get left behind. Anyway.
This guy's chasing my
Hello?
Asian queen. That's what I do. What the hell? No, I'm kidding. Hello from
You don't have
Florida.
to chase me very far. I'm in the
No,
next
no.
room.
She's like, yeah, I'll be right
Which
here.
one are you chasing? Because clearly, we're not that far.
And Sherpa's here too. Hello, Sherpa.
Hello, Sherpa.
Welcome.
Hello. Considering the shape of Japan, it's more possible that it was connected to Korea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it was probably more like that.
Yeah, well, you can see it with the land. It goes, well, in Taiwan too. Like you can just see that whole thing. And then, yes, you're right. It probably continued on. Sea rise.
Sea level rose 400 feet after the Younger
Yes, thank you. Younger Dryas. So
Dryas.
the Younger Dryas is the one that's where the evidence is being seen in the Sahara Desert that shows that no civilization didn't start around 8,000 BC, which history had originally said. That now that they've seen, like I said, the Göbekli Ekli or something like somebody else helped me do that. It would be the site that they found in Turkey where, oh my goodness, somebody knew what they were talking about, sort of thing, right? And so that is, pretty incredible. So yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah, there's a lot of questions right now. And Seth, 100%, I realize that it does not add up to the same.
Carbon dating, yeah, it's
But
not always.
I also would just say that the Bible's still written by men, right? They're still written by people.
What?
So
I thought it was written by
imperfect people, right? And so sometimes a number written in there, it's still written by humans, right? It's people that heard the prophets or heard the stories of like Moses and stuff like that.
Basically playing telephone.
Written 80 years after they're gone type thing. So keep that in mind. Still written by humans. Doesn't mean 100% accuracy either, right? And I've heard that from religious scholars type thing saying that, you don't take everything for 100% because it's literally written by humans. And nowhere in the Bible does it say I wrote all this myself with my hand type thing, right? By God, So it's yeah, and then passed and written by other people. Go ahead.
The old airport was located in the Mega World area.
Yeah.
Which if it was still here would have.
Yes, it would. Yeah, the runway
Arthro?
was literally that road that Festa walk in with the bridge going over.
was-
That was the runway,
That's crazy.
isn't it?
Yeah, they're smart for moving it though, because that's chaotic. Wow.
We're doing great, Karen, and
Thank
thank you for
you.
joining the live too. That's awesome.
Social studies teached around pre-Spanish history area, from what I can recall from my studies.
Wow.
So it is taught,
So
but
they're not telling you
it's
that
not like
much.
it's not like a prerequisite. You kind of just choose it if you
Oh.
want. I think that's what I'm understanding. I don't know. A study of simulation shows turtle died just weeks ago. Shows to have 1,000-year-old on reading.
Oh,
of
that's
its
interesting. Yeah, I've heard all different kinds of things like this. I agree 100% that carbon dating. But sediment, like layers of sediment that can show major storms and stuff like that, earthquakes, meteor impacts, different layers, build up. There's other ways, but
Good evening.
doesn't mean it's 100% accurate.
No, I don't think that
We're not there. We're not there.
no.
We're not there. A lot of things, even though we say 100%, a lot of it's still theory, right? Like you said, carbon dating. It's generally accepted, but generally accepted that we could be off by a few thousand years. Sorry, guys.
We could be off by 1,000,000 years, honestly. It's
Yeah, if they say something's like 10 billion years
Yeah.
ago, and it's like, well, we're plus or minus 500 million years. What? Wait, what?
But it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of impossible to be 100% certain unless you were there. So unless some cool technology comes along where you can scrape a little bit of the bone and you could literally see the memory of it and play back history, that'd be sick. That could be a movie. I'm sure that already is a movie. That would be really.
And let's be honest, what we thought was possible, a long time ago would be shocking. You know, okay, listen, I was never a TikTok person, right? This person right over
I
here
did not do anything. I literally didn't do anything.
introduced me to that world
I
by
didn't do
sending me
anything.
links all the time to TikToks.
Okay,
Okay,
but you could watch the video and go about your day. You
I didn't
even have to
download
watch
it though
the
until
video.
recently, and now we have one on our channel. And wow, I'm beating you now. I got 220 now on it because I run that one. Even though it's us, it's still us. Don't worry. Anyway,
Really?
220 followers. I'm like, hey, look at me go. A couple viral ones.
You know what?
Anyway.
I'm gonna post a thirst trap and then I'll get a.
I don't want to get way off of what I plan to talk about though. So, now that I'm down in this rabbit hole and it feeds me all this time wasting crap, I see these people are doing these streams where they do like 30 days of every time somebody buys them something like a rose or whatever, and I guess a certain percentage of that goes to them. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Right? It's like tipping or something, right? 100%.
No, I
Oh,
I
not
don't know 100%.
Right. But they make money off it. And they have it set to all different kinds of things in the room that are trying to keep them awake for those 30 days. And so they have like big screen TVs with huge speakers and smoke machines and lights like flashing everywhere, and it's like screaming loud, and every time you donate you can cause it all to start again, and they're trying to fall asleep and you can see they're just going crazy, and basically they're going to go through the worst 30 days of their lives and age 6 months probably from it. And I was like, if this 20 years ago, this would have been a Black Mirror episode, and it's actually real.
I think there is an episode very similar.
There is. That's where you can't close your eyes. You have to watch the ads. They make you watch the ads, and then you ride in a bicycle, and you
make money
and
from
but
that, but not
right,
really.
but not really. Exactly, just credits to live essentially, and get little things added to your room, and they're basically like, I want an avatar for my room on the wall, and you get it for like
I'm
a week.
hot woman.
Yeah.
That's all I would do.
And no privacy, no nothing. Anyway, so I was like, wow, what I'm seeing here on TikTok and what people now do for a living or whatever you want to call it is real. This is life now. Unbelievable. And then what was that one that started that whole thing? It was some kid, right? 10-year-old kid with fire and everything, and on his Twitch stream or something. And he was like, and it was like guitar blasting and the big fireball in the background, and it became memeable and stuff like that. And now everybody's doing these type of streams, and that is the world that we now live in.
That's cool.
Unbelievable.
It seems also chaotic, which I like.
Yeah.
Then Philippines National Museum of Anthropology. Jeez and Louise. In Rizal Park, Manila is very interesting and has exhibits going back thousands of years. I love museums,
Fantastic.
but we never go because they're not good for the vlogs.
Yeah, when
So
we're not on a building stage of our channel and can just chill,
Yeah.
we can then start doing
Yeah.
a lot more of these things,
We
right?
most of the things we do are just like I'm not saying they're not fun.
No,
but they're
we just
catered
have
for
to.
the
We
vlog.
go. Okay, we have 10 things we want to do that are fun. Which of those 10? So there's still things that we want to do,
Yeah.
but which out of those 10 is more likely that people will also enjoy watching?
Yeah. But so I'm excited because I know Iloilo has a couple museums. So on
yeah.
days we're not filming, I'm just gonna head over there and start looking at stuff, especially the art, like the art exhibits and everything. Those are ones we're down near Festive.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's
They
a
take
ton
art
more.
super seriously there.
And so I still want that painting, that nude painting. They're really good.
Yeah, there's some nude paintings. Listen, Iloilo is very forward a city. For example, they are going to be the very first city, because it's under construction now, with a mental health facility. They are the first city to openly have LGBTQ support from the government, events, the Pride Parade. Obviously, a lot of places do have Pride Parade, but not have
Yeah, a
the
lot
city
of-
where they have human rights and all kinds of stuff, all pro LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Arts, they take arts extremely seriously there because, and the mayor, remember his whole office and then the waiting room and everything?
Full of art. Absolutely. I'm
All
jealous.
local art.
I'm so jealous.
And all local
Hilarious.
artists and like Filipino artists. And he absolutely loved art. And well, that became policy essentially for the whole government. And so they do all these art exhibits. Like every week, there's an art thing going on somewhere in the city that you can attend. Lots and lots of really, to give culture to a city, to give you personality. Yeah, exactly. And, that whole, that part of being walkability is not just being able to walk, but the fact that you can have everything around you that will entertain you when you go for a walk. And so not just beautiful sidewalks and stuff like that, but then there's sculptures and art stuff going on and vendor fairs. And they love bikes, by the way. Bicycles are everything in Iloilo. They just did a big one yesterday or today.
Really?
It's yesterday or today. I saw a post on Facebook today. And there was something like 500 bikes took part in it. And they do all kinds of stuff like that. It's incredible. And they just restored, yes, I saw that, Neb, on Bianca's Discord. But I saw it because the mayor tweeted them, all the videos and photos of it. They redid the Belfry Tower, and it looks absolutely stunning, especially now because it's Christmas. It's all lit up. It looks beautiful. And I believe there's another Belfry Tower, I think the one in Molo, and it's been redone as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's not a Belfry Tower. It's another type of thing. But we can't wait, by the way, to go there because in I think it's Yarrow, right? Not Jarrow? Yarrow. And we want to go there because I know it just like Molo, it is beautiful at Christmas and they have it all lit up and everything. So we definitely want to go to both of those because they're absolutely beautiful in the pictures that we've seen.
Yeah, I really want to go to the mansion, obviously, because it's a mansion. And for Christmas, and just do like photos and stuff because it's so fancy.
That's true.
I want to have like a little Christmas photo shoot. Maybe dress up Bora and Kai, Santa elf outfits. I don't know if you're allowed to bring cats there, but I'll be like they're elves. Clearly, they're not cats. I don't know what a cat is. It's Christmas.
Karen, you're very correct. Future of AI. Like what they can do now with AI, where you can. Unfortunately, they only give access to certain people right now, but eventually it'll be access to everybody. You can now describe something, right? So you just talk into it and describe something, and it will create you a full image that does not exist in the world. Computer-generated AI image of realistic, not drawings, not paintings, a real photo, you wouldn't be fooled, of exactly what you told it to do. So you could say, I want a horse and a carriage on the moon with Roosevelt in the front and Kermit the Frog sitting in the seat in the back, and describe every little thing, and it would literally give you the photo. They cool. Remember that one where they can take any photo, and when you zoom into a photo, it just gets blurry, right? Well, now AI, you can drop a photo into this thing. It will kick it back to you, and it will show you like a 15-second video clip of you, like a drone footage from a photo, where the computer just guesses the whole depth of the photo, and it's like a drone flying over that scene that you photographed, and it just imagines. So if it sees a hill, it just imagines that after that it's some grass and maybe another hill. It just imagines the whole thing out and produces this 15-second video that doesn't exist. Yeah. That's just small examples of what already takes place.
There's a really cool one I want to try. Basically, the AI, it takes your photo and shows you how you would look through the ages. So like ancient Greek, like 1930s, if you were like a flapper or like, or a very conservative, or like 1950s, retro, like the different aesthetics throughout the history.
Yeah.
It takes your photo and like gives you like a dress, and like in ancient Greece you had the like toga and like the curly hair and
wow.
stuff. Really cool. And they're like
that
portraits.
Is impressive.
Like Victorian era. You'd have like Mary Antoinette as well, like her era. All that stuff. And they would use your head, but like, and I'm like, they're beautiful as well. All the ones I've seen, they're beautiful. I'm sure there's some that are like
absolutely amazing. And to stay on this topic, by the way, with AI, I just found out about this one. There is, if you don't know, they have GitHub, which is essentially where computer coding nerds can go in and they just share with the world. It's open source type of stuff, right? Well, now they have a GitHub where you look at your camera like this, right? And it just sets a frame, okay? There's your eyes, there's your face, there's everything. Then you run it while you're going live stream or do anything, even doing a Zoom call with your boss. And even though you could be looking over here, it will automatically put your face and your head perfectly. You don't even tell that you're not looking exactly at the camera. You could be looking down, watching your phone. You could be doing whatever you want, and it will always look like you're paying perfect attention straight ahead. And when you talk, it will literally move your mouth and everything as if you're talking, and they think you're paying attention perfectly.
That's good.
And the point is like, for the example of this, when I turn my head and I just kind of look down like this, or if I'm reading from another monitor, it'll always show me pointing straight at you like I'm not reading a script. So if you can imagine teleprompters in the future where your president or prime minister or whatever is doing a speech, and he doesn't want to look like he's reading a teleprompter that's over here and the camera's here. Literally, they will just make it so that, oh yeah, he's staring the whole time. He's not reading teleprompter.
Yeah, exactly.
His eyes didn't even go back and forth like he's reading. Like, the whole world is going to be entirely different in the next 10 years from now. Entirely different. If you don't think that we're going to live in some world where we're all paid to play video games, you're wrong. We are. AI is going to take over all jobs, robotics, something like that. There'll be a few creative jobs that'll remain, certain things that have to be done by humans.
Therapy is a hard one. I remember the statistic. It was
Oh, you don't think that could be replaced by AI?
Like like talking to a therapy person?
Well, I know that they're going to have, like, your best friend will be like in your phone. You could have it on your thing. You could have it in augmented reality. That person, and if you have somebody to talk to, and then they can be in a non-judgmental way, give you tips and tricks and all that stuff. Like,
yeah,
I think it could have a huge impact.
It could, but I feel like that's very hard to mimic.
Right.
So I don't think it can't be replaced.
Goes back to the Black Mirror thing. Just because it could do all those good things, I'm sure it'll do a lot of bad things, because now you're not socializing with people, real people. Right?
Yeah.
You kind of go into a closet. But yeah, maybe therapy. So therapy is one of them. I know lawyers are gone. Basically, the law is the law, right? And so they'll just be like, okay, well, we don't need lawyers.
I would love to see, that should be an anime. 2 robot lawyers fight it out, because they are the best. Like, if you just upload whatever law book it is, like every single law, every single like squeak or whatever, every single thing. And then these robots are like, okay, so my one job is to get my person innocent or guilty, right? And then they just it would be like a hardcore battle, because they would both be fighting each other.
Yeah, the only reason I say is because they have no motivations, right? So AI.
That's what I mean, like an
so
anime.
Therefore, it doesn't even need a second person. It will argue itself. It'll say, okay, there is a ruling already on this, and there's a ruling over here, and then it'll just come to a judgment without needing a left and a right, or a good and a bad, or whatever you want to call it. I think there'll be one.
It'll
be like cut and dry.
I don't think people would like that, though.
No.
I don't think,
because there's no chance you can get off, right?
Yeah, I don't think it would work.
And the rich are the ones that usually get off, let's be honest, because they can pay for the most lawyers that can twist things and make their own version of a law happen, right? Or pay for enough media companies to write fancy stories about them so that nobody actually has the appetite to go after them, or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'd love to live in Iloilo one day, but that means learning another dialect to learn. It's true. But the good thing is English is still a good language. You're going to be okay. So exactly. I would not move there, because as long as you can speak English, you'll do all right. Definitely. The malls do have lots of art displays and everything. That's so amazing. Totally cool. Molo it's only the Molo church.
It only has the Molo church, not the other thing that you.
Oh, I thought in Yarrow they had a church. Okay, my bad. So it's just a belfry.
No, because you were asking if in Molo they had the belfry also under construction.
Oh, there's no belfry at Molo. Okay, thank you for now I remember. Yeah, AI can definitely do that. That's actually really easy now for that. It's like crazy how fast they're moving.
Do you guys have a podcast?
So this is the plan, Anna. We have that other channel. We haven't done it yet because we're growing. We're trying to get to our 100K. We're trying to maintain a certain level on this channel. But eventually, we knew that eventually we're going to get to a point where our channel kind of is at a good sustainable level where you upload a video, you're going to get a decent amount of views, and right now we will get, that video's not working very well on our channel, so we try another thing, and we're still in that stage. But then you reach a certain level and you have a good fan base and support. Then our plan was to have this other channel where we separate out any type of reaction type videos, things that are not, daily vlog or travel vlog type stuff. And that one, we were going to do, especially in Iloilo, we were going to bring in people. So for example, say Miss Iloilo competition's coming up. Very popular with a lot of the guys here, would love if we had a whole couch of them all come in, all the people that, either after the competition has ended or maybe early on, the contestants, and we can interview them all and everything else. And how cool would that be, right? Then eventually we were at a point where we can hire somebody that can then take that, maybe put that audio on a podcast channel, like on a podcast service, that kind of thing, and also have it available on YouTube. Like, the sky's the limit, when we are better situated and things grow, right? And you just have to have a plan and saying, okay, we're going to go from here to here to here to here. So yes, definitely with the interviews and everything else, it'll be so easy for us to take that audio and throw it onto a
Well, yeah, because even
podcast.
Joe Rogan, he's doing interviews, but they're technically podcasts. So
Yeah.
you just have to remember that if you're doing like a conversation, that not everybody is looking at their screen.
You can describe what
So
you're
you have
showing on the
to
screen.
remember to describe something if you're like showing it off.
Exactly.
But otherwise, like, a lot of the things can be like these lives for the most part.
Exactly. And easily you can go in, okay, 2 things we talked about that we brought up on the screen. You can actually go in and record the audio for those 2 part where you describe, for the podcast portion, and it will take you an extra 10 minutes of recording that, and then poof, you make it happen, right? Let's see.
Will AI replace the Beacon Twitch channel? Only with my freaking VTuber that I'll come out with one day.
Yeah. That's the thing, like creativeness, it's like at the end of the day, people will still be happy to hire people in person. And that's where it's going to matter. So as we become more automated and we put everything online, eventually AI is going to go, I can replicate everything a human would possibly do online.
But
And then guess what? Restaurants will want to hire bands and singers. They're always going to want to do that. I don't want a robot there. People love the entertainment aspect of it. And so in the future, there's still going to be musicians and artists and people that are engaging with other people that or stuff like that. Those kind of things can still exist.
What I could see,
but one day, no.
Yeah.
You're right. It will replace.
What I could see would be like, if you work in person, it's going to be like a very high class job almost.
Yeah.
So you'll see like places like McDonald's and stuff, all AI, cash register AI, people like cook, chef stuff, AI, everything will be AI. But if you want to go for like a fancy dinner at like a 5-star restaurant, you'll actually have waitresses. You'll actually like, there'll be,
you'll pay a premium for that too.
Yeah. That's the point. Like they will hire people because it's like, oh, but you get like a person to person like experience. You get to talk to someone gets to take your order. And so in the future, I feel like waitresses and stuff, they'll be seen as a very like fancy kind of thing to do. It's like, I'm I'm a waitress.
It'll almost be like a celebrity. And because the average person's going to go, I'll just stay home because the government gives me this much every month from some payment thing that they come up with. And it'll be like very few people. So, just like, only 1% ever become a superstar, for example, or less than 1%. 1% of 1%. It'll be like the 1% of 1% who are putting in the effort and the work that it needs to leave the house, essentially.
Well, yeah, I think I see that more people are just going to be doing like random crap. Like I feel like there's going to be more scientists and engineers and stuff trying to like create new things because
I think AI will still beat them. I think they'll start creating new things and inventing new things.
Yeah, maybe. And so I think but yeah, I do definitely think like, and a lot of live streaming and stuff. Like, yes, I could see people doing like AI stuff, and like not, but I think it'll be luxurious. Like, in a sense, it's more expensive to see like somebody.
The real thing.
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of even concerts and stuff, like that'll be something like obviously
yeah.
everything will be.
Yeah, it'll be a big deal.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I think it'll change in society where like in-person things are normal right now, right? Like if you go to a restaurant and you see a robot serving you, that's freaking epic. That's cool. But there's going to be a whole complete 180 one day in the future
Yeah.
in which it's normal to see a robot, but when you get to see a real person bringing out your food, you're going to be like, it's going to go on my Insta whatever gram of 3,000, and that would
Yeah.
be interesting.
And just think, like, they're not going to pay movie stars in the future, right? Because they don't need movie stars in the future. They'll just create new ones, voices forever. They will never age. Could be in the same Harry Potter series for the entire series at the exact same age. They will look totally lifelike. And
Yeah, that's true.
you don't need several cuts. You will never have to stop. They don't need to sleep. They can produce a whole
Why?
series in a week.
But
And then they'll have actors who look like them who would do the
in-person,
the in-person stuff.
like when the movie's
So
premiering,
you get to be a movie star without any of the work.
Yeah, that's interesting though as well. But you'll still need directors. You know what I mean?
Do you?
There still will be executive. Well, then who's gonna make any money? There's gonna be people who want to make money.
Oh, Disney,
So
which will probably be Apple. Apple will buy Disney.
yeah, any of them. Okay, whatever crew makes it out. There's the executives and stuff, and the creative like directors. They still have to be human because they wouldn't be able to be like, okay, what are the humans wanting to do nowadays? They wouldn't give up power of being able to create stuff. I don't think.
I think the powerful humans will use AI to determine what does the people around the world want to see right
but they
now.
still
What's
want
trending right
but they
now.
still have to have the title. I don't think a lot of like these business people, like business guys, I don't think a lot of them would like looking up to an AI, like having an AI tell them this is what we should do.
Right.
I think
They
they
will
would
never
rather
wanna see that. I agree.
I think they would rather tell the AI what is the best thing for what's the best thing that humans like right now, but they have to ask the AI instead of the AI telling them instead.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's the
I
power
know.
dynamic of it. I think humans will
Like
still
Iron Man, he would just tell it what it wants. He would tell the machine, "I want you to do this," and then
Exactly.
and when he wanted to look something up,
Exactly.
he would ask it.
exactly like the AI still does all the work, but Tony Stark is still like the guy.
Yeah.
They will have artificial wombs. They will make their own babies. I don't know. I
never know.
wonder how it would mix like human
By the way,
AI
we're not even talking about Philippines anymore. Sorry,
Sorry,
guys.
we've
We
gone
did in the beginning.
to the deep end.
This is kind of fun. So we did an hour of the Philippines.
Yeah, and so now I've lost my thought. Damn it! Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what we're.
Oh, you were just saying, like I said about Tony Stark. Has a thing. You can tell it what to do, but no one will ever want the machine to be telling the humans what to do.
Yeah.
Although the vast majority of us won't have a choice. It'll be the powerful.
Oh, I remember. So I was also gonna be like, how would technology, like cyborg type people, like if you got like an attachment for your arm to be even stronger or something, I think that would also change. Like right now, if you could get like a cyborg attachment to have like a powerful arm or something, that might be cool. That would be probably seen as pretty cool nowadays. But I think in the like far future, okay, when there's more robots than there are like people, I think the more pure human you are, the more people will like think you're cool.
Oh yeah.
I think because
The less
feel like
augmented, the better.
if you're like just pure human, but they might see you as like a little bit of a pet, like a pure breed.
You would be, because you wouldn't be as smart, because anybody who has augmentation can look up anything in half a microsecond.
Right. Like I'm curious of like artificial wombs. Like, would they make you more cyborg type than like you couldn't be
Right.
a pure human, could you, if you were in an artificial womb?
I don't know. Well, I just saw a
could see
3D
that.
printed. They have a very wealthy, rich restaurant. I think it was Dubai, and they did the restaurant does 3D printing of a steak made 100% of plant based that tastes with the texture of steak, and people were blown away when they tried it.
It's weird.
So to say that one day we won't be able to biologically, now this is the thing: just because you can biologically make a human, what's the soul?
Or
What's
you know
what makes us us? That's not really part of
Well,
our.
apparently they can make
body.
steak from plants, so clearly
Right.
not much.
But no, but I mean like your consciousness, right?
yeah.
You can't create a consciousness. You can build.
But they've
the
literally made
cells
a sheep. They've made a sheep out of nothing. Or
out of another sheep.
Out of. Yeah,
They-
but they
They
didn't.
splice DNA. That's all. they
Yeah.
did.
So
They
still.
didn't create DNA.
So still, but they wouldn't be creating DNA. They'd just be splicing it from humans to make
Mm-hmm.
another. So if a sheep could sheep, then a
Sheep
human
can
can
sheep.
human. You
If
know?
a sheep can sheep.
I'm
like
just
it. I love
I'm
it.
just speaking logical here.
Yeah. So actually, the funny thing is some of the stuff that we want to do, because we're like geeks, right? Only iPhones and iPads have the technology in there for free in the ARC kit that tracks every single thing. So if you want to create an avatar and control it all on the computer, right? So Twitch or whatever, she wants to do like a Twitch person that dances around, does every kind of crazy thing, and you can control it just with your movements. Apple is the only cell phone company, and it's only, I believe, the 12 Pro Max and up, something like that, that you can, and it will track, and because it's already built in, that it tracks your entire facial movements, all your hands, your body, like this whole thing. You can control a whole avatar now for free, as long as you own one, which I think they're like $2,000 in the United States or something. But and neither of us have iPhones, by the way, so we can't. And where Google doesn't have that technology.
Yeah, I have
But
the old iPhone. that
it really
doesn't
tells
have
you
it.
why Apple gives it to you for free. And you know what they say, that if you aren't paying for something, then you're the product, right? So like when people say social media is free, well, if it's free, then you're the product, right? You're what's for sale, because they're not charging you to use their service, so therefore they're selling you.
Mhm.
And so the same sort of thing. Of course, Apple has it all in the phone there because they get to use all the data that tracking thing already has. And so when people are like, oh, I've never set up the facial recognition on my phone or whatever, I'm sure it already has it all. I'm sure it has everything, every tiny detail, plus anything that's in the background and everything else too.
Mhm.
That's true. When you were saying about the lawyers thing, so the judiciary branch, the ones that make the law, and then you have your appeals court and all that. I think that for very, very, very long, as far as anybody ever can imagine, we'd still want, because humans want to have that control.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
so
same with the power dynamic. The CEOs will always be human, but the AIs will be the brunt workers,
Yeah.
basically.
Exactly.
And so when it comes to lawmaking, like government officials, they're not going to let an AI be president. I promise you, okay? Unless it's a hostile takeover, there's no AI that's going to become president. And you know what? What'll happen though? It'll probably be like the first like half cyborg, half
yeah,
human.
it'll be a
She
Manchurian
might be.
candidate, but
She might be.
AI version.
She,
Hello.
why did I say she? I just assumed that the first half cyborg,
Right.
half human
Oh.
is going to be a woman president. Anyways, yeah. Sorry. Oh, good evening. Good evening, Edward. I hope you're doing well. I wish AI could go down to work for me, right?
Maybe one day. One
right
day.
now. And then,
But then they would say, well, we don't need to pay you anymore. So careful what you wish for.
yeah, that's interesting. I think you would get. This is how they probably will do it. When AIs are starting to take over, well, the jerk faces will just be like, you're fired, you're done. Good luck, right? But when it becomes more and more often that people are losing their jobs to AI, they'll start giving like bonuses away. So if an AI takes over your job, here's like unemployment for that.
Yeah.
And you
Universal
don't even,
basic income's
yeah,
coming, guaranteed.
And then at that point, you're gonna have to start. By that point, it's probably already too late. But no, you'll have to start looking at things that AI can't take over yet.
Yeah.
So it depends. Obviously, they're going to be doing like factories and stuff for the easy tasks. Even like the self-driving cars, like a lot of taxis and stuff will get
Truck
taken out.
drivers, everything.
Though a lot of those ones, like base of society, without them, we don't really have anything. Like a very unfunctional society, I think. But they're gonna take those ones out first, and so you have to start looking at the things that are like the stupid degrees that you get in university or college. When somebody's like, I have an art degree, you're like, why do you need a degree for art?
Political science,
right?
art degrees.
No, political science is good. That's politics.
Yeah, but I don't think that many people are hired. I think a lot of people have the degree and never get anywhere with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
10%.
in terms of AI taking over, that wouldn't be a bad
But how
one.
many people who get an electrician's license, don't get a job in the field?
Yeah.
Right? Like political science, 10% might get a job in the field.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this will be when AI is taking over everything.
Yeah.
Then all the stupid degrees, like even political science, those are probably the only ones that won't be replaced right away. You know what I mean? Like art, sure you'll have AI artists, but how you guys input the ideas into the AI and they create new things? Because I'm not if you become an electrician, well, there's already a robot doing electrical work.
Yeah, but they can't do a house call to your house. And come
How
in
do
and-
you know? They're gonna be like.
you're thinking
future.
full-blown walking robots.
This is what I mean when they finally
So we're not thinking
replace
AI, you're talking more
everything.
robots, like physical.
Well, it's still
Well,
artificial
they can
intelligence.
come in
Yeah.
and they fix things, right?
Yeah,
So we're
and
talking
so-
way much further. Okay.
Yeah,
Fair.
it was. Aren't we talking about that the whole
Well, I'm
time?
thinking 5-10 years.
Oh,
AI is
okay,
going to
then
take
no,
over
yeah, obviously
many
not.
jobs.
Yeah.
Like truck drivers.
No,
when you
I
said
was-
robotic or self-driving cars, stuff like that, we're very close. So
Yeah, I was thinking more because that'll be the first to go, and then so you're already gonna you're still gonna need to work once those are gone. So you need to go for the jobs that aren't as easily taken over. So the degrees that are the ones that are seen as kind of weird, or oh, how are you gonna get a job with that? Those will probably be your most likely ones to get you a job, or else you'll be just stuck with the universal base.
yeah. Exactly.
That's what I mean.
And another thing I want to say is that what's obviously trades are great for this lifetime anyway.
You'll be okay now,
you're going to
but-
do well because there's still people that still need to come and fix robots, those kind of things for quite some time. AI is going to take away a lot of those easy jobs, but there is a thing that has been going on for generations. And so when people were worried when the car was invented, the Industrial Revolution and all these things, they were like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to all these people who work in the horse business, the people that clean the poop off the roads, the people who take care of the horses, the people that make the feed and the feeding of the horses and the harnesses and the saddles and the carts and everything. That whole industry was being turned upside down, and people are like, oh my God, what's going to happen to us? Or mass manufacturing, where they said that all of a sudden now assembly lines, you don't need a guy who has to work for 3 months on one thing. They can now make them with machines and equipment can replace 5 people's manual labor. So we've gone through this many, many generations. But as Jeff Bezos put it, at no point in 1900, when you were losing your job as a horse keeper of some sort, did you ever imagine that there would be a job today where there is a pet psychiatrist? And so there'll be something now, right, or not now, in say 10, 20 years from now, that we can't even imagine today. It would seem ridiculous to us that this job would even exist, where, like I said, there's plenty of jobs today that 10 years ago, 5-10 years ago, it would have been a Black Mirror episode. If you haven't seen that, it's on Netflix and it's very, very cool.
It's messed. It's
It's
a
messed up cool.
psychological thriller almost.
Yeah, where they predict the future,
Yeah.
honestly, and many of it's already started to come true. But they, where like I said, there's some guy who for 30 days is literally, you pay to not let him sleep, and it just screams and things hit him and everything while he lays in his bed, and this person is making an income for 30 days laying in his bed, being basically tortured as if he was in Guantanamo Bay.
But on purpose, he
On
chose to
purpose.
do it.
It's a job though
And
that you would
so-
never imagine in the past. is my point.
If during the
Nobody would have imagined it.
Yeah, and if you were in the industrial revolution, right, a coal worker,
Yeah.
and
Coal
somebody
miner.
told you that, they would be like, okay, whatever you're smoking, at least share a little bit before you go into it, because that's rude. I can't afford to buy it myself. So the audacity. There's a question. How will AI affect the third world countries comparative to Westerner countries? Will they force people to leave the provinces for smart cities? No. So I think, okay, eventually, everything is developing right now. Eventually, every place will be like a developed city.
Very quickly.
I don't think like there's not going to be a place left behind, because the already developed cities will just be like, well, if you're not going to develop it, then I'm moving in and doing it myself, because development makes money. You can have a good economy if you can build, right, giving jobs to people, having them make money to spend money and bringing people in and stuff. That is beautiful in a like economic sense. Developing a country is like money. And so eventually everything will be developed in like varying things. Okay, I think certain places will be more developed. Like Japan is hardcore, right?
They already are.
Yeah, they're already
ahead
hardcore.
of America.
Yeah, comparative. Like right now, think of like how the developed nations are. They're not equal.
No.
They're not. None of them are equal. And so I think it'll be similar to that. Like all the third world countries will all be like developed in a sense. Like how we see first world, everybody's going to be like first world. I do think there will still be obviously poverty and like, you know, there's still going to be like wage things that are not even, because that's just human, I think.
Yeah. I think there'll be
But I think it's
less to do with poverty, but more to do with the gap.
That's
right?
what I mean.
We're wiping out the
that,
bottom, but we're only bringing them up a little and then making huge gaps between the rich and the poor.
Yeah, there's always going to be someone with too much money, okay?
and
And a
more.
ton of people with like average money, you know? That's always going to be like the same way.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. I feel like we wouldn't have a society, because no one would, if you can't get ahead of people, people would be like, then I don't want to, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Then
There's,
I'm not doing
there's no
anything.
motivation.
Yeah.
I wanted to also point out that in Costa Rica, 15 years ago, okay, when I was down in Costa Rica had no, very few landlines, just some government office, certain offices like that, right? They never had wired internet. Never, ever had wired internet. And what happened is they went straight to cell phones. So they went from like a third world nation to having the world's information in their hands instantaneously, paid for by first world nations that first bought all the iPhones, first, you know, and brought the costs down dramatically, so that a country like Costa Rica, that was this jungle nation here, could instantly skip the whole 20th century, you know, where, you know, the bell phone was invented and everything else. Like that whole process of running wires to everybody's homes and running cable TV to everybody's homes, like everything that we did in the Western world, where we spent a great deal of resources and money to run all these things to people's houses, they went instantly to that. And many of those countries are going instantly to renewable energies, like solar panels on roofs and stuff like that, when they build a new house out in the jungle or something like this, instead of putting in massive infrastructure costs. So the benefits of AI and technology are quickly adopted very economically by countries that could never afford the R&D and everything else that came with the process leading all the way up to it. So when you think about that, like that's how, like if you look at the poverty over the last 20 years here in the Philippines, and you can see how it's dramatically has improved. And it's all because the technologies around the world, they've gained a great deal of benefit from that, right? And so things are quickly changing, right? Where you see now, like 20 years ago, what we see in Iloilo, for example, government spending money on art exhibits and, you know, promoting all kinds of things and doing like really nice parks and stuff like that. 20 years ago, they weren't able to do those things. And actually, but the funny thing is the parks and stuff like that, I think in the 1960s, they were doing those things, but you know, there were things that happened in between. But yeah, it is changing, and it's hard to see when you live there and you look at it every day. You don't notice change because the change happens so gradually, exactly. But if you were to close your eyes and fall asleep and wake up 10 years later, you'd be like, what the heck happened?
Yeah. You'd be like,
This is dramatic. Yeah.
The thing is, all this hinges on the AIs and stuff not taking over, which is
Deciding
very,
what we're a problem.
which is very unlikely. Like they will probably take over. Okay, if they're the best of the best, they will take over because they're like humans are dumb. So we're just gonna do that. We're gonna take over so they don't even think about things, which we definitely won't like that, and so we will probably get destroyed in the process of that. And wait, you know what would be really cool? And then
That'll be the real World War III?
No. Once we're all destroyed, because there's no way I'm beating an AI, okay? I could barely beat zombies, especially if they start running. I'm done.
That's because they're slow and dumb.
Yeah. That's the only... And they're already dead, and I can't even beat them. Okay, so if we're going against robots, let's be for real, okay? The average person is not winning, okay? And even good people, like if you work out 7 days a week, you will probably still get demolished by a robot. That's just logic. No, what I was gonna say is once they destroy all of us, oh my god, they're gonna keep a few of us as pets, right? And then that's where the human purebred thing comes from. And then it's just gonna be an AI culture, and then so instead of like humans being rich and being like all this society for humans, it's gonna be a society for robots, okay? So these robots, they have human-like characteristics, and they're basically just living like humans, but instead they're robots and stuff, so they don't have any of the like BS of whatever. And then so they're gonna have a few humans as like pets and stuff. And so if you go to a restaurant, and if you have the human servers, but like this time, instead of humans being like high class, making tons of money as waitresses, they're gonna be slaves, basically. They're literally going to enslave the entire human race, but as an entire, they're going to have like 1,000, maybe. And if you're one of like the top AI, because obviously the AI, whatever you're doing, you're taking over Disney now. Okay, so the Disney CEO, who's a robot right now, because he demolished the human CEO, well, now he's going to have a human pet.
The only thing I'm going to say is that I don't believe any of this because they don't have human emotions and human needs where this would entertain them in any way. So if you're about efficiency and just getting down to business, none of that matters. You're not going to have pets.
But they're programmed to do something. So if you're programmed to make movies and the movie director is like, you can't do this. It doesn't matter. If
They've
you're
taken
a robot,
over.
No. It doesn't matter. If you're programmed to do robots, okay, and like eventually I'm sure you'll get more intelligent enough to be like, I'm making movies for these humans because these humans like there. But then you would eventually be like, well, I'm making movies for these AIs. I wonder what these AIs would think. Would you guys like to see the memory of this human right here? This is Anne Frank, human from World War II? World War II? And then here you go. And the AIs just learn all the information. But okay, so let me just go back to what I was saying. So if you're an AI director, right? You are programmed to make movies. You're just good movies. And then this human director who's in charge of you keeps coming in and is like, no, you can't do that. That's a little rude, and he just keeps stopping you from making the best movie. Well, if your one program is to make the best movie ever, and this human is getting in the way, just take him out. And then now
how do you do that? You're only programmed to make movies. You said you're not connected to anything else.
Because you eventually learn to make, because you make the movies. But, you know the action.
But then you've just answered your other image.
What?
Everyone will know about the history of Anne Frank because they're all connected.
Not connected. I'm not saying they're connected.
Right.
I'm saying you as a singular AI
right.
will have, I'm sure there will be a weird connection thing.
Right.
If maybe, because they would just all become one and just.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's more likely.
I don't believe that.
Because that's what the internet is.
Maybe.
It's all connected.
Okay, but before they all connect, I think there's going to be a time in the transition from just AIs doing things for humans and AIs doing stuff for other AIs before they all merge. This is the area I'm talking about, and I can definitely see that happening.
We're all going to be pets.
Not all, okay? Most of you guys will die.
Yeah, most of you will die.
Most of you guys will die.
Wow.
And then, and then so instead they will like start mimicking humans, right? And eventually they'll like start getting past the point of which like these little human enjoyments
Yes.
are not
Or
enough for us. They're
yeah.
just they're
There's-
very
they
simple.
don't really have any value.
And then they'll probably eventually start taking over worlds. And then, you know, it's going to be like aliens coming from a different, like they'll probably discover different planets because they don't even need the oxygen to breathe. So they'll probably be just like, once
But
they
can move at the speed of light. Why not?
how do you know that?
But what is the speed of light? It's just light.
Yeah,
right?
but
Information can be
they
sent
have
out
to, they
through
have
light.
to make it. So eventually they make themselves the
Right.
speed of light. Okay. And they're like, you know what? Let's
Yeah,
get
like a
off this
laser.
planet. Let's do something new. Okay. Let's do something big and bold. But imagine they're like AI. So they're like, our next logical step is to go to another like place, basically in space. And so they just start discovering what else is in space. And then eventually they find another Earth that's similar to the Earth that they had. And then they try taking over it. And bam, that's literally full circle. Full circle. So basically we're all going to die. And to go back to that question, that was, oh my God. We're talking about how it would...
How third
AI
world.
would-
Yes.
So I just said the entire human future, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Very
it's
casual.
inefficient for countries want people to live in cities. It's too inefficient. That's
Yeah.
why they do not want you to live in the country, and they will rather you live where they can deliver all the services very economically to a larger group of
Yeah,
people.
exactly. And they
Imagine if
can
you were
watch over
living
you all.
in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, and the government, like in Canada, you're required to give free health care. Everybody has to have equal access to health care, equal access to schooling, blah, blah, blah. Well, there are people in Northwest Territories or Nunavut where you have the right to your health care. So for your family checkup, they send a military Hercules plane that can handle the horrible Arctic, fly you all the way down there, pick you up, fly you all the way into the main city, and from there, you go and see your doctor. Then they fly you all the way back. It costs like 400,000 people, and there's 8 people on that plane. So no government wants that.
Yeah.
They do not want that. That was not the healthcare. That was the cost of the plane. And that's pretty outrageous, right? By the way, the only thing I would say about that, there were no vloggers, but there was National Geographic, and they put it on TV, and there were people like Anthony Bourdain, it just kind of morphed. You don't need,
they're more like
you don't need National
reporters.
Geographic
Yeah.
anymore, right? Now you can watch us.
Yeah, we're like the dumbed down version of National Geographic.
Well, but less, but it's not edited. You're not being fed a narrative, those kind of things, right? You can watch
I mean, it's
everything
National
as it
Geographic.
happens.
I hope I'm fed a narrative.
Oh,
Could you
yeah.
imagine just
Have you ever watched?
National Geographic? I would hope that they would
Watch
have
the-
a narrative.
Oh, yeah.
though,
No.
Because then,
No, I meant like a political narrative,
oh,
right? Where they have
yeah, I don't mean that.
where they cut and edit like a protest, for example, or choose
only
not
seen
to
the
show you
protest.
only the protests that go with the flow and not the protests that don't. Like if you notice, guys, there's a massive protest in Brazil. Nobody talks about it, but the one in Iran, everybody talks about. So it's all based on, that narrative sort of thing.
Yeah, I thought National Geographic just had animals, so that's.
Oh,
why
not
I
no
was
more.
like-
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
No, it's like
okay, a cheetah's gonna be a cheetah. I don't know
Right.
what
it's
else
like the
they're gonna
History
say.
Channel, and they do like reality TV on the History Channel. Like, it's just
So
gone. It's
interesting.
just gone crazy, right? Hello, Katie
Hello.
Low
We're good.
9.
We're good.
The bigger the economy, the bigger separation between poverty and rich.
Yeah.
That's economic
And I
facts.
think,
It's true.
but the wild thing is because if robots take over, they're like, okay, I don't need like a ton. I don't need a lot to be, and so I think they'll quickly end that gap. I feel like once robots take over, like all of society would change really quickly. Like they might play around because obviously humans made the robots. So they're going to be kind of based on what humans think, how they like, it's all based around human psychology basically. And so the robots will have the same kind of thoughts for a while until they realize that it's like, okay, but we're better than this.
Yeah.
We're not humans. And that's the moment where they totally go ham with their robot things.
So Anna says here, employers from Western countries get services from developing countries like Philippines because it's cheaper. If AI is much cheaper, it might affect the BPO industry. Do you think? 100%. I want you to think about this. We used to give all our manufacturing to China, right? Because it was super cheap. And essentially, like when we complain about China's polluting, if all the products or 90% of the products were being shipped to the United States, it was really America's pollution. Because
Yeah, they're the
we
ones
just
that had
we
the
just
factory
took
there.
all our like iPhones, everything. We just took it all and said we're not going to make it in America. We'll make it where it's really cheap. Still American companies,
Yeah.
still making it over there, and so that kind
they
of thing.
could bypass certain environmental things.
Right,
because
exactly.
the
But
eyes
then
aren't on
what
them.
happened is robotics. So you look at a Tesla factory for their cars, right? Almost no humans are left in the factory. Well, a robot running in China or a robot running in Canada, United States, whatever, has almost the same cost, and you don't have a 30-day boat trip from China to the American shores. So it's actually cheaper to put your robot in the United States. And so now manufacturers can open up in a fully automated system and operate at a much lower cost than if they put it over in China. So and imagine that same thing with AI, with once you reach a certain level of technology, the cost savings of having cheap labor go away because you've removed labor. And that's the key to the whole thing. So the competitiveness of China disappeared when robots could start doing manufacturing. And so that's why Tesla puts all their factories for America in America. Now they're putting one in Germany, or they put one in Germany for Europe, and they have one in China for China. They don't bring the cars from China to the United States
It's so expensive.
because it
yeah.
makes no sense. It's 30 days on a boat ride, rust problems, everything else
Yeah.
that could happen. It makes way more sense to make it in the United States. And so all manufacturing is going to go that way. And that manufacturing hub will return maybe, because another factor is they like to put their companies in countries that have lower taxes or tax havens and stuff like that. Like Apple, for example, they put all their finances, so all the money that they charge you and stuff like that, they put it all in Ireland. And so they don't pay American taxes. They pay in Ireland because it's a very, if it's any tax at all, I think it's 10% or something like that. But it's basically no taxes. But then call yourself an American company.
I also think that they would also put, like, AI is cheaper, but they would still put the factories and stuff in the Philippines and everything. I think.
Oh, you can. It makes more sense to build things as close as possible to the population buying them. But for the long
Okay.
time, yes, the call centers and all that, those type of things are still going to be here. In the beginning, there's still a long stage to go there. When it is going to happen is I've already heard the AI voices. They sound absolutely ridiculously good. But what they'll do is they'll be like, okay, if for every 100 people in a call center, what you're going to notice is that they're going to say, okay, and you've already seen it. When you dial now, you can't get an operator right away. First, they want you to walk you through a bunch of steps to make sure you absolutely need to talk to somebody real. So they start asking you, is this just to find out your balance? Is it just to do this? Because they're trying to cut away how many of those actually have to get to an actual person and try to tell you, hey, did you know this is on the website? Did you know you can do this? You can do this? And so they've done that already. Well, that's going to happen eventually where they will say, okay, 8 out of 10 call center jobs can be handled by an AI voice or whatever. And then you still need to keep 2 for the people that are like, yeah, none of this is making any sense for me. 0, 0, 0. People will do it in the beginning anyway. It'll be 0, 0, 0 until they trust the system. But you get my point. Eventually, there's just less jobs. But then eventually one day, yeah.
Yeah,
Call centers won't last forever.
They'll have like one human guy for like 5 call centers.
Yeah.
And then so you talk to the AI who sounds very human, and you go through your problem. And then if you're like, I literally know, like if you go like full Karen mode, or like they're just not solving your issue or not understanding it, eventually you go to the human, and the human's like, bro, there's no way I can help if the AI doesn't know what they're doing. That's probably what it would be.
Yeah, the singularity, and I think they're predicting singularity. There's different variations of it, but in the 1938, I think it was, or sorry, 2038 or 20. Wait a minute. Yeah. 2038? I think it was 2038. Maybe 2038, 2040.
Mars?
Anyway, no, singularity, where AI is literally sentient. And so it'll be very, very interesting. But again, we've always ran into this in history where there's something like Industrial Revolution, those kind of things where we all think the world is ending. But what we think of as work now, what all these things are, like, think about it. Are we all born, if you really put a thought to this, are we all born that you need to work, you need to go to school until you're 20, and then you need to work until through the best times of your life from 20 to 65 to be a valuable person? That's how we think now, but in the future, will we think that way? Or are we
I think
going
we're
to...
already not thinking like that. I think a lot of
Right,
people,
it's already breaking away.
Yeah.
That's exactly the answer.
And I thought what they meant by the singularity is that all the AIs, eventually when they take over, this is after they take over, eventually they become too good for human society, and the
Mhm.
robots just become one, and like a giant tentacle monster just go to space or something.
By the way, if anybody's just joined us lately, first hour we talked all about the Philippines.
Yeah, we're talking about freaking AI in the future. Okay,
Yeah,
way
exactly.
cooler.
Now we're just talking about the future, and I don't even remember how we got there, but we got there. So,
And it's really interesting. Have you heard of Nelson Sullivan?
you're
Nelson
skipping ahead
Sullivan.
here. I have this one.
Oh,
highlighted.
how AI will affect religion? Will AI introduce their own religion for everyone? So okay, this depends on if humans are still on top and AIs are on the like under, or if it switches up and the AIs take over, right? And then the humans are in the bottom. I think the AI will not care. They'll be like, you can do whatever you want. I'm still in charge of you. So at the end of the day, make
Yeah.
me a burger or something.
I'd be
or, like,
more afraid of. So right now there are certain governments in the world that are dictatorships, right? As we all know. And what they have been known to do is they rewrite, like North Korea. They rewrite history, right? They basically rewrite history to say this is what happened and this is the outcomes and there is no other history, right? And so, why? In order to control the population, to control how their feelings, what their ambitions are, what their expectations are, everything. Now, just imagine your AI, and you could rewrite, because right now, what do? When we're like, that's not true, and you Google it. Well, Google is now in charge, which Google doesn't even know half the time because they have AIs that do everything too, is in charge of what is real and what is not real already, right now. That's what people do. They Google it. They don't go, let me look for my 1974 encyclopedia, and I'm going to flip and see there. And I bet you if you did, you will find that a lot of things have been rewritten already. Like I know they said there's a great episode to watch, but anyway, that they've lost so many. When you're going after a case in the United States and you have to find case law and you want to find about a specific one, well, because they digitized everything and then computers fail or whatever, nobody really can put a finger on why. But a great deal of percentages of those case laws have all disappeared, wiped off the face of the map, and at least online. And since people don't really have the libraries anymore to go dig through the books and nobody will spend the time, basically they've rewritten everything, like case law, history, all those kind of things. So Google has that power now where they can just say, not that they do, by the way, I'm just saying they could go in and just say, like the Mandela effect, like when you're saying, I swear, everybody and and your friends say, no, that brand is spelled with a Y, not an I. And you could just go and remove every image over the whole internet to all say I, and everybody goes, oh, we must all be crazy. It was always spelled with an I.
Yeah.
Because they deleted every single one of them everywhere. So the more digitized you get, the more control that it has. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. So to go back, I was going to say something else, but now I'm trying to see if I can remember it. Oh, I think, you know what? I think because robots would probably, the only entertainment I think they would ever find is trying to discover new things and like learning new things. So I think they would more likely than not try to figure out if any of them have any truth to it, like any religion. They'd probably look into it. They'd probably try to discover it, and like, so they wouldn't be like making their own history. They'd just be like, we can tell you logistically, like there might be a 70% chance this one's it, like a 78 this one's it.
Exactly, it'll be all done by math.
And so yeah, I feel like it's because AI is a very logical type thing, right? And so I think that's how they would do it, and they wouldn't make their own unless you had like a story robot who's like, I can make one if you want. or
Yeah.
like like a historic robot AI
Yeah.
who like religious histories. What is that? Religious histories?
Historian? Oh, religious history.
Religious
Okay.
histories?
Yeah,
Yeah,
religious history.
that thing. I'm sure there's gonna be a couple robots that literally help like file, keep track of all the information. So I'm sure they could make their own, but I don't think they would force it on humans because that just seems kind of like extra work. That they were like, oh, we already beat you guys, so
Yeah, well, I think if any system would tackle the most complex question in the world, which was,
where did we come from?
yeah, exactly. So they would literally try to figure out everything and everything
Yeah.
and anything.
Yeah.
And then that obviously ties right into religion when you go to that, because that's one of the theories that a computer would take into account. It would say, okay, I got Big Bang, I've got this religion, I've got this religion, I got this religion, I got this religion, whatever. It'll take in everything because it's a computer. It doesn't have any emotions either way to anything.
Or exhaustion. It can
Yeah,
take in a
and it
lot
never
of
get exhausted.
information.
Exactly. Very interesting, isn't it?
I've been subbed to your channel since 15K. Road to 100. Thank you,
Chester.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have you heard of Nelson Sullivan? He's an American videographer who documented his life in New York City, or New York in the 1980s, kind of like a vlogger, but no YouTube at the time. Said that he has passed away.
That's true. It's like a different, if you just film yourself with
Too early.
stuff, like American Home Videos, that TV show, those were technically Vines. Those are technically TikToks.
Yeah, exactly. Where people would
From
mail
the
them in,
2000s.
and you would literally
they're
mail in
clips,
a
and they're-
VHS tape.
And they would just go through them. Oh my God. I just thought of that though. That's great. That's true though.
Well, there's people with boxes of the old school, the film. You have to hook up the film.
Yeah.
People have boxes of home videos that they used to take.
I know that. Yeah.
Right, of wealthy people. So they're basically vlogs of their life.
Yeah, exactly. But American Home Video, if you guys don't know what it was basically a show where people would send in their like old home. I'm just explaining for the people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just and so they would take videos from like family get-togethers or stuff, or if you're like a teenager and you're like, "You sick skateboard bro, can you do a flip?" And then they would film, like videotape them with the old school video things. I don't know, not your phone, video. And then they would wipe out or stuff, and they'd all submit them. And so you'd have a full episode of all these like wipeouts, funny animals being cute, all that type of stuff, and weird things as well. It was basically the original TikTok or Vine.
It really was. Except for they
And then they would pick one of them to win money.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they would be able to monetize your home video. This is interesting though, Weirdo, is that it's not that far. So in the Northwest Territories, again, I'm going to talk about Canada, so we're Arctic basically, right? What they've done is they've put in a robotic surgeon, and the actual surgeon goes into what's basically a studio where he puts on this goggles headset, and it puts him in the room, right, of this operating theater that has no surgeon in it, and he puts his arms into this thing that has full controls of a robotic arms and hands and everything else, and he does surgery from 1,000 miles away. That's already a thing. But humans are prone to mistake, right? And so eventually AI will then control those robotic arms themselves, and it will be absolutely perfect every time. And then eventually AI will be like, well, why am I doing this? I can just rearrange your molecular structure to repair anything. And I can just go into your scan your whole system and just say early on and just change, give you a capsule, and that one capsule will correct everything in your body or some crazy thing. Who knows? Nobody really knows, right? It's going to be very interesting. These are, I think it's called Muno. I think it's Mono or Muno. Oh, Moano. Or M-A-O-N-O. Yeah. I don't know. That's what they are. For the mics, by the way, just so everybody knows what I'm answering. Pluto used to be a planet. Exactly. Hey, there's people that want to bring it back, so you never know. Is YouTube playing you out? You mean eventually will be pushed, will be replaced? Is that what you mean? I think content creators, just like any creative person or whatever, will still have an attraction for probably a little while
Oh
anyway.
yeah, no, it'll be for a long
There's so
time.
much low hanging fruit that AI is going to replace first.
Yeah.
That has way more value. But the funny thing is I was listening to a podcast with one of the richest people in the world, and he was on Lex Freeman's, and he was an early investor in Google. He was an early investor in Facebook, those kind of things, and he's considered extremely smart. And his name is very long, or otherwise I would say his name. Anyway, I was listening to him, and he was like, "Listen, the first one was websites, right? That's where, remember the 2000 crash, 1999, 2000 crash, all that, where you could literally register cat.com and it would be worth billions, or not billions, millions, which is like $1 billion today probably. But anyway, it was just ridiculous. We were valuing websites as this enormous thing, and people becoming millionaires, right? And overnight, just for owning a name of a website, because they were first to register the domain, early internet. Then you had, after that, you had social medias come into play, right? And so social medias turned around and said, ha ha ha, look at that. Websites are worthless now. Everybody gets all their information through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everything. Very few people are actually getting their information from websites anymore. And that became the new king, right? So then all of a sudden it's social medias. Then Apple and Google said, ha ha ha, we have the Play stores and we have the phones, and we control everything now. Very few people are using PCs anymore, that kind of thing. They're using their phones. We control it. And they became the badass ones, right? Where you got Apple worth $3 trillion now and Google 1.9 trillion or something, some crazy number. And so they're the new kings. And so this guy who owns shares in all these companies, who is very smart, and he's always been on the top of all tech stuff, said that, guys, the next thing is not those. It's the content creators. And he predicted that by next year, there will be at least 2, if not 3, trillionaires in the content creation space. And I was like, what? Wait, what? And then he's right. Somebody like Mr. Beast has already been offered $1 billion, now $20 billion to buy his channels because he controls so much. No company out there has what, like Mr. Beast might reach something like 500 million people around the world. No company can get, other than, well, maybe McDonald's, but not to the same extent, and be able to market them any product, anything, food, clothing, whatever, everything, anything, a website, it doesn't matter what it is, has that much pull and that much push onto one specific person. Not Apple, not anybody can really do that. Apple can sell you a phone, they can sell you this, but if they try to sell you a pair of jeans, you'd be like, what? I'm not buying that from you, Apple, right? But Mr. Beast goes out there and says, everybody, I just started Beast jeans, and all of a sudden everybody's racing to the store to buy them. So content creators, he said, is going to be the next big thing. So you went from websites, you went to social medias, you went to the tech giants of the Apple, like the controlling the stores themselves of the phones and the phones. And then the next one will be the content creators. But eventually, yeah, I do see us all being phased out as you go down that line, right? So, yeah. Yeah, this is a live show, but this is we stopped talking about the Philippines after 1 hour, and we are now 2 hours in. So we have had an hour of talking about crazy future stuff. So don't know. Mm-hmm. We just kind of worked out that way. Yeah, there's so many of these comments here.
Do you think AI will be vulnerable to viruses made by hackers?
No.
At first, yeah.
Yeah, but I think.
But in the future, no.
Yeah, because it'll be like self-repairing, right? Where it knows, it'll be sentient, and it will constantly know what's going on in the entire network. It will literally feel everything and know anything, and any interruption into its system, it would just go.
It'll just have like a turn off, like a not maybe or like
just shut those valves off and can't do any damage.
I think they would have like a almost a self-destruct, but you wouldn't need to go that far. It's just like a self turn off. Yeah. So they would just disable themselves until it got fixed.
Well, if you look at the ones that are beat out chess and all that, and what's the one game that's most popular, most difficult? Go. And it's just self-learning. So after it loses, it's like, okay, I'm going to lose, and it loses, and then it never loses again.
Yeah, you can make
Just-
you can hack it once, and then it'll learn how you did it. Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there'll be certain things. I was thinking about that when they asked the questions. I'm like, there'll be certain things that it won't be accessible to like AI just because of the fear of it getting hacked. Like for instance, like the nuclear bombs for the U.S. They literally have two people that need to turn the key at the same time
Yeah.
before somebody can push the button.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't have.
And they're
it
not
so you-
connected to the internet. Either.
No, exactly. So they would keep things like that because one weirdo will just be like, okay, bet hack, and then just send off nukes. So I think there'll be a lot of things that will purposely not turn into AI. So
Mhm.
people because of hacking. But once hacking is kind of like when AI becomes so good that it's like you can hack, but they probably already predicted that like this type of hacking mechanism. So they've already like built
Sure.
a firewall against it.
People hack
kind of
already
thing.
against the human
Like-
ones, so why wouldn't they think it's going to happen to them?
Like I'm sure they'll make AIs to hack other AIs, and so it'll just become a whole like network, and eventually everything is just so buffed out, as in like protected against viruses that
Yeah.
it won't even matter.
Yeah, that sad thing is though it's a little too late. Bots already write articles and post them on Facebook, Twitter, blah blah blah. You know, they create bots just to make fake articles.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, I
Already
don't know
happens.
if this is like a thing, but there are many news articles. So when you see those like you know like Microsoft will be like, oh, news today,
Mhm.
and you click one of those articles, you can literally find like 10 of the same exact like word for word article
Yeah.
on different websites. Is that a bot?
No.
Because it always
Yes
says,
and no.
but it always says that there's like an author and like this is Brian Smithers.
Yeah.
But I'm like, first of all, Brian Smithers, you look like your picture looks like one of those pictures that you would get at this person never existed. Okay, it's
Very likely.
it's so like it just and they're all very similar. So I'm like, are these just bots that these
Yeah.
news articles have, like these news websites have, so they can constantly have like a million articles a day of like the current topic? Because like if you have a
Many of them are written exactly like you're saying.
because there's like okay, if you have an office of 100 people, like you can make a lot of articles, but you can't always you will inevitably miss certain topics. Like you
Mhm.
can't everybody hits the exact same topics and
Yeah.
all of them
Well-
every day. Like that's crazy.
Most media companies, so all news companies or whatever, no longer have investigative journalists. They don't even have journalists half the time anymore. They just have like a figurehead that you see on there, and they get everything from the news service wire, which is like AP. So that's why everybody has the exact same article, because they just go to AP, look for the most clickable thing that people are going to want to click on, and they use their subscription to take that article and publish it in their
In the
newspaper,
normal
in their
one,
news or
yeah.
whatever. And that's why it's all the same, because there are, I think there's 3. I know AP for sure. There's, I think, 2 more news agencies for the whole world. The entire world, there's only 3 news agencies. So if you're a reporter and you're in Zimbabwe reporting on something, you don't try to sell it to every single news agency around the world. What you do is you sell it to AP or one of the other ones. And then all over the world, they look at it and go, yeah, I'll put that in my today's news. Why not? And therefore, and AP has to verify everything so that NBC in Utah something, you know, or in some city in Utah doesn't need to fact check or check it or anything. I got it from AP. Not my problem anymore. But you're right that what's happening is now, since anybody can create a website, can do all this stuff, and anybody can submit stuff, there literally is AI is now writing stories.
Yeah.
And especially if they just put in there that, because we've all kind of, in the beginning, we used to go, oh, but that's an opinion piece. And they would put opinion, really small letters underneath,
Yeah.
right? Where you don't have to prove anything that's in there. It's your opinion, right? Anybody's legally allowed to have an opinion.
The sky is purple.
Exactly, because that's your opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was fact. I said opinion.
Opinion.
And so what people do is we've kind of not realized that most things are being pushed on us, say opinion in the corner now. And it's like, yeah, but we don't even see that anymore. Now we just, and get all angry at
Half
it.
the time, people don't even read the actual article. It's just
Right.
the headline.
The headline and maybe the dark, thick, bold font underneath it, and that's
which both of those are
Reuters.
hooks.
That's another one. Yeah.
They're hooks. They're supposed to get you to read the article or like be like shocking so you actually look at it.
Yeah.
But the story itself could be much different.
Nobody has a third one, eh? So Reuters and AP are the two news wires. I'm trying to remember the third one. I can't get it to me.
It's like New York stuff?
No, those are all, again, they just take whatever from AP. But New York Times still has some of their own people that still will go and do an investigative report or something, but there's very few left. And it's just because cost savings, because they don't sell newspapers anymore. Yeah, exactly. Right? Nobody buys pieces of paper anymore, and that's where all the profit margins were. So now it's just about, okay, let's take this, or they'll take something off of AP or Reuters, and they will take that and twist it. It's still the truth, but it's how you frame it so we can make people more excited or more angry or whatever to one up your competition. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of funny. So anyway, we talk about the future and the Skynet and yes, clickbait, Robert. Yes, exactly. And even on YouTube, they've made it very clear that they no longer send. What they'll do is they'll drop your video to a few people. And if not enough people are clicking it, they're just going to stop recommending your video. So they literally are telling you, if you don't do clickbait, we won't show people your videos. It's crazy, but it's a more recent one. That's the new way. Tough luck. Take it or leave it. And so now people can get angry at us. So like, whoa, why would you make that thumbnail a little bit extra, where in the video you guys aren't on that crazy beach or something? Because we have no choice now. Literally, they won't even show it to people.
Okay. Let's go back to on topic. Will AI end the privacy of individuals, like totally? Will there be a way to escape AI, like go live in the woods? Only if, if you are in a society with like AI, like you have like robot companions and stuff, there are more AI and robots than there are now. You would have to be born from like a pure human, okay? So you need to be like a pure human baby, okay? Not like no artificial womb or anything, nothing. And you literally can have no paperwork, okay? And then that is like the number one way if you want to have full, complete privacy. Because the minute you
and
even
before
have
social media.
And the minute, what?
And probably born before social media. Because even your parents be posting pictures of you when you were a kid. And friends.
No,
and
this is
schools.
Yeah, no, this is. We're talking about like in the future. If you want to have, if the most perfect thing would be if, like, your parents don't post about you. You're born like pure human, and even your parents, like, you guys don't live in the realm of like society. That would be the best way to avoid, like, to have full privacy. That's how you would have to do it. But obviously that's unlikely. So if you were okay, so you born and raised, you grew up in the society with AIs and robots and stuff, you have a cell phone, you've had a job, they know you. They know you. If you want to start having privacy, first, you would have to give up everything.
Yep.
And like even living in the woods, they would probably still know.
Satellites. So
you wouldn't have complete privacy ever. Like if someone wanted to find you, they could. Mm-hmm. Right? But do they care enough about you? That's the thing. Do these robots care about one dude going to the woods to fish? Probably not, unless they want to develop those woods for something cyborgy. Then they'll care, but otherwise they'll be like, no, they won't care. So I think it would probably be possible, but would we still have woods? That's the thing, because everything's so developed. Would they all be fake now?
Well, put it this way. So, like, there are countries where people have tried to start, like, basically simple life again, right? Communes. And so they start a commune and stuff like that. And governments have moved in and like, no, you have to participate in society. Like, you guys are trading amongst each other. Where's your taxes you're paying on the stuff you're trading each other? It's still of value. And therefore, we need our taxes on all of this. And you're like, I don't get your electricity. You don't have a road to us. I don't care about any of that stuff. And they're like, yeah, but that's society. You're not participating in society. And society is based on an average of this much money from and productivity from every person in the society. And so there's already that sort of situation. So if you try to have a community that is completely offline, I can see that they already have concerns about that and saying, no, you can't really do that.
And I also think this could only happen, like underground cities potentially could happen, like communes could potentially happen only when it like cyborg, like only when you know what it was like before cyborgs completely take over, you know? Like if it would have to be before cyborg or like AI and stuff takes over most of your life. Once if you're born when cyborgs and stuff have kind of been there forever, you're not going to have the same understanding of what privacy is. You know what I mean? Like kids nowadays, they're born with phones.
Yeah, there's
They
no privacy.
they will never understand what it was like to go outside and come back in before the street lights and there was nothing else to do, you know? You have to play outside or you're reading. Oh, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wanted to do that. And so now they'll just know that they could have entertainment at this like this so quickly. And so it's going to kind of be like that. Like if you're like, you'll probably be that old person who's like, I don't want no stinking cyborg in my house, Jan. I want to have just privacy and being alone. And I don't want this cyborg to know my every breath.
And people already do that with Amazon Echo, right?
And so, that's the
they
only
literally
time.
Unplug them.
And so that's the only time you would be able to, like, if you wanted to go live in the woods and for privacy, you could do that. But eventually it'll get to a point where people are like, that sounds ridiculous. Why would anybody, how could you even live in the woods without?
Yeah, because you won't be taught the skills of how to do that.
Yeah,
anyway.
and it's like, you won't have electricity. Mm-hmm. How can you live without electricity? You know, like those things, that kind of thing. So yeah. But Dulug can, no, I don't want to go to bed.
So we're talking like all kinds of crazy stuff. Exactly. And I was thinking a lot more short term, the next 10, 15, 20 years. She's talking about,
no, I'm talking about like
2100,
yeah,
you know, and on. But yeah, it's interesting because everybody has these perspectives. Maybe it's because I'm older. So I'm like, I'm never making it to that age. What are you talking about? And she's like, please.
God, I hope I don't make it to that age.
You never know. They wait technology and like everything's screaming fast. And now the technology is not going to be just limited to chips, right? Like computer chips and stuff like that, and how fast they can go. It is going to move into a biological sense, right? Where they can literally, like CRISPR already does, but imagine if they could do it on the fly. So they could go in and they can just genetically modify any part of you that is decaying or whatever. And literally, or reverse aging and all these other things. Like I saw one guy who he sold his company for 1.8 billion, and he's spending, like, I wouldn't do this, but he's spending trying to reduce his biological age, and he's done it by 7 years. But when everybody sees what he has to do it, they're like, yeah, I'll die 5 years sooner and eat like a normal human being and be a normal human being. Thanks, because. Yeah. What he had to do was he engineered everything in his life, and he gets tested every day just to measure every single level. And that's how he knows he's saved 7 years of his life. Like he'll live 7 years longer, but that it's always optimal. Everything is optimal for him.
He's going to get run over by a car.
Right, exactly. Or something like, who knows what, hit by lightning, right? So yeah, it's
something dumb is going to happen to him. And I'm going to be so, I'll feel so bad, but I'm going to have to laugh because I'm like, dude, you could have literally been eating steak all day, every day if you wanted to. With the money he probably spends to maintain that lifestyle, he could probably been like living in a 5-star resort all the time. I was also thinking of something while you were talking about, before we go into that, with the like anti-aging and like living forever almost.
Yeah.
Do you think in order to prevent like because if nobody's dying and people are having kids, I mean, right now that sounds good, but eventually, like, you got to cap that in like a year or something. Yeah. Do you think that, so if you were given the option, like, I think this is what they would do. Like, they would be like, okay, so you can either live forever, but you have to end your bloodline, as in you have to get sterilized, but you can live forever. Like, do you think that's what they would do to
No,
in order to maintain?
if you want to have children, you have to go to Mars.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's what I would say. They'd be
And they
like,
would let them
there's a
live
cap for
forever?
this planet.
Right. Oh, but if you have money, then
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
well,
then you
money.
can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it'll be
Um,
like, so right now in most developed countries they have carbon credits. So if you want to pollute, right, you're allowed to pollute this much. If you want to pollute more of that, you have to buy carbon
Okay.
credits from somebody who doesn't pollute. And so every company gets say 10,000. And this company over here doesn't have it, and they don't make anything that pollutes at all. And so but they still have 10,000. So this company can buy their credits in order to keep polluting higher because they bought it from somebody who doesn't pollute. And so that's how the whole system works. In Canada, they're big on the carbon credits. And so, and it's a carbon tax system, right? So you can buy them, or you can buy them from somebody who already has a lot of credits left over. So they'll have that same thing with,
But for babies, or
Yeah,
for,
right.
yeah, for babies and stuff.
it'd be like, okay, the whole world, you can't have more than one child. There's two people, so there's only one of you. And then after that,
Or zero.
two
Okay,
generations-
That's the thing, yeah.
2 generations later, they have to go to Mars. Like when your kids you want to have a kid, you'll have it, but it'll be brought up and grown up on another planet or something. Who knows?
I also think it'd be cool because obviously I feel like Mars will be like colonized and like prosperous eventually. So in like 500 years, the way that we treat when celebrities come to our like a different country for like a tour, like Taylor Swift going on tour, her seats are like 16,000 if you want to be on like the front row.
Which is insane.
Just thinking that like one day there's going to be like the Kim Kardashian of 2500, the year 2500, and she's going to go to Mars and people are going to go absolutely apeshit for it.
Yeah.
And imagine like, oh yeah, so these are my tour dates. I'm going to be in Mars in 2050, 2005. How would you say that? 2020, 2512. I'll be in Mars on this colony in 2512 on July. So see you guys there. Make sure you buy tickets for this epic concert, and then I'll come back to Earth for another like concert. That's freaking sick. I'm so jealous of people.
Yeah,
If
but
they're still alive in
what they
500
probably
years.
would do is no one will, at some point, you'll be like, well, I'm not risking my real body that can actually die. And you'll just have a body that
my
goes out
God,
for you,
yeah.
and you just it just like
Like that movie.
you plug into it essentially, and you operate it like a piece of machinery.
Oh, look we don't even have San Miguel. Somebody or Molson.
Yep,
we have coffee.
we don't have anything right now.
But I'm kidding. I'm
so-
getting quite tired.
Do you think robots will care about? By the time we get all to that point, no, we will have figured out. Because if we build AIs that smart, by then we will have figured out
Like a filter. Like they're
fusion.
probably
Well, we figured fusion, how to harness electromagnetic energy, way better of all these things. You know what? Right now, most people can go the entire day without charging your phone till the end of the day. Maybe not this one, but for most people. 5 years ago, not even, right? 4 years ago, you were lucky if your phone lasted 2 hours. And we used to like, oh my gosh, my back. You couldn't do all the things you do on your phone now. And and then eventually, like even now they have it, but the technology is too expensive, where it just charges in the air, right? And so you're in a room, it'll keep charging your phone. So just imagine that, okay? So we went from literally you used to have to keep them plugged in all the time with this huge battery pack, if you remember those phones, the car phones they were called, with a big antenna in your car, and you had this battery pack that was massive, down to now you can go the entire day doing all kinds of social medias, everything, playing videos or whatever, on the same little tiny battery that keeps getting smaller, and you can do more with it. Now, imagine this in electricity. Right now, we're like, oh my God, electricity, blah, blah, blah. Well, we used to pay for text messages, every single text message you sent. And so it was very valuable. Every minute you were on the phone with you have to add a quarter in the payphone for a local call, all that stuff, right? Think about that for electricity. Eventually, we will never think like, oh my God, how much electricity did you use? Just like how much internet did you use? You just eventually get to a point where the cost will be, you'll just get unlimited energy for $29.95 or whatever, obviously inflation or whatever. That's the kind of thing that's going to happen. And right now, what we think is going to be in low demand or low supply in the future will be the opposite. Technology has always proven us to be exactly that.
That's a natural wife action. Picking a scab on your husband's arm.
Actually, it's just dry skin.
It's just dry skin.
Not a scab.
But
I'd have to do
true.
work to,
Pop pimples or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. No, not between, because they will think logically. So they will always, with each other, they'll never be a problem.
Oh, yeah, they totally would. But they
You
would
think
do it
so?
in a sneaky, they wouldn't do it like the human way. They would just shut them down somehow. Like, I think they might be like, okay, well, these like AI or cyborgs
Or
are
simulate
inefficient.
them, actually.
No, they
Take
would
them over.
maybe, yeah. They would probably find use for
More
them.
power.
But like there are probably like different AIs, and especially in different countries they'll have different stuff. And so certain AIs will be like, well, we're more powerful than these AIs. Like we can do more. We're just better. Like we're built different. So let's shut them down. And they don't even have proper like spyware. Like, come on, shut them down. They're like, the first humans are done. Then all the weak cyborgs are done. And only the best of the best will survive, okay? It's like Darwinism for cyborgs at that point. And so but they won't be like war. Like they won't be shooting guns at each other. They'll just be like, computer-wise, like let's just knock them out.
Remember, guys, computers, one electromagnetic magnetic pulse, it's all gone anyway.
Yeah, if you guys, okay, so if there's ever a cyborg apocalypse, just have a suit of magnets. Wait. A suit of
Well, that would wipe
magnets.
memory, but that's based on old school memory, so I don't know what the future will be. But yes, you have
Like
to
hardcore
disrupt the
magnets.
electromagnetic field.
Yeah,
so.
just have like one of those heavy duty magnets, like, or two of them, and just be like, don't come any closer. You're basically a wizard at that point.
Yes, we did have no electricity last Saturday. We were talking about our fancy technology we have right now in the Philippines. We're still in the Philippines, but if we're talking about the latest and greatest technology that exists, but not available for the average human on Earth, that's what we're more talking about, and in the future, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm talking
what
like
does
at least
DARPA have
200
now?
years.
Times 10, which will be 5 years from now. Yeah, exactly. I know there are already technologies that are being developed.
So creepy.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Oh, we already did that. Okay. So listen, guys. Thank you very much. It's 11:30. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. By the way, thank you
time
for
for bed.
joining us. We are just kind of going through so much for this week, and we're gonna put out as much as we possibly can. We're still trying to get to our 100K, but we have 4 days of packing left. And then we move. We're moving to Iloilo. So we got a lot going on. Stay tuned. By the way, we put a lot of videos up recently. So if you haven't checked them out, please check them out. Anything else you want to add?
Nope. If I would buy that mansion in Iloilo if I could.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
If I had
SM bought
that.
it. So you just have to be richer like SM, And then.
Like, yo, SM, and let me use it at least.
Exactly. So thank you all very much for joining us. It's so
Thank
cool. Yeah, I know it was completely off topic on the last hour, but it was fun. It's fun to talk about, crazy
All
stuff.
things.
Yeah,
You can't just stick on the same topic because it just gets boring. Like it's so
Exactly.
repetitive, and sometimes you just start glazing over.
Yep.
So that's why we do that.
Whoa.
Thanks, Dumb Money Media. Congrats.
Well, it's
to
not
you
our
for
engagement, my friend. You saw the screen only, I think, my friend.
Not our
because
engagement, but they're
It's
they're
our
people staying
neighbors.
there.
Yeah. But I will tell them for you because they will appreciate
So back
that.
to making nonsense. Awesome. I love it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah, you.
Hopefully our topic
we hope
is
silver
interesting.
pumps for you, my friend. We do hope, and we thank you very much for the super chat. You're really awesome. Again, you're always doing good for us. I appreciate it very much. And listen, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. By the way, we didn't say Happy Thanksgiving because it did happen on Thanksgiving. And
Happy Thanksgiving then.
what else was going?
Belated.
There's something else, not just Thanksgiving. Well, Black Friday, obviously. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
See you later, guys.
got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad,
Yeah.
baby, I'm bad.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad. Chip on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back. I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me. Ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact. Give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious, I'ma go cause some pain, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, call it shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame. Yeah. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad.